it's cheap.
Well, what I'm starting to wonder is there's so many Glens in front of things. I feel like the Morangy, they were just like, yo, Morangy ain't gonna work. Throw a Glen on that bitch, and people are gonna love it.
These guys can't. You can't be Glenn Brooklotic.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
We should just put a Glen on the front of a wide receiver's name that we like.
The Glenn Barthod.
We want to be good, we have them ranked in our like 30s, 40s. We really want them to be good, but we're just being fair. So we can just call them the
from now on, he's Terry McLaurin.
Don't, hey, chill.
Keenan Al Glenn.
Chill.
Tyler Glenn Lockett.
All right, maybe that one.
That's a good one.
Now we got some Glens. All right, so we've got a bit. Great.
That's what I said. Yeah. Any receiver, if you can work the word Glenn into his name, then
yeah,
he gets a Scotch bump.
It's a sell. Yeah, it's an easy sell. Doesn't even matter how long it's been aged, aka how long said receiver's been in the league, if veteran or not. You just throw their name under the rug, throw a Glenn on it.
Odell Glenn Beckham. Busy. That's not bad.
That's too fitting.
I think Odell is probably like a Highland malt, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Odell's got style.
You can just go with the Glendale. That's starting to sound like Rondale, JMic.
Yeah, it is.
Glendale Moore. They play out
encroaching
Glendale
a little
too,
too close to the sun. Encroaching a little too close to the sun.
Isn't that where they play in Arizona, Glendale? Is that the little whatever they call it?
Isn't that Scottsdale?
Dude. Oh, is it Scottsdale?
Yeah, I think it's Scottsdale.
All right.
I mean, I don't know much, but that rings a bell.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping I could provide a nickname for the next WR1 in Arizona, Glendale Moore.
All right. Glendale Moore. Are we going live? Are we ready?
Oh, Pete, we've been live. We got the Glenn bit.
This is awesome.
Locked and loaded.
Oh, we just eased right in.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Too easy.
Somebody say something to acknowledge the fact that there's people.
All right. Hey, welcome in. This is the open bar, the open bar land, the open high bar land. I don't know if we've established a name yet, but
the Highland, we're just renting space here with you guys.
We've certainly established not the run, but the reception. We've established the reception here.
The reception
for the second year. That's right.
Branding.
You thought this was the first time we did this? We've been around. All right. We've been doing wide receivers for at least 365 days. All right.
Are we going to go for a concision this time? Cut it from 3 hours to 2, maybe?
I don't know how many cups of whiskey. I'm literally saying cups, like 8 ounces. 8 ounces.
I went back and listened to the last 20 minutes from last year, and I have to say, we made sense. We were still like the receiver names. I recognized the names. Like we were talking about real people still. I give us credit. At least I give me credit because I was drinking the whole damn time.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I knew like towards where that climb was. That what's that Price is Right game where you're climbing up. What's that one called with the little?
I was more like
the little yodeler walking up.
I was gonna say I was more like Plinko.
Yeah, just the whole time. Just the whole time.
So we've got wide receivers this evening. Obviously, Whisky and wide receivers. The goal, like you said, and as Pete previously put this out on Twitter, let's run through what we can. We'll see what we can get done until around 10 p.m. Eastern time ish, and have some fun with it. But yeah, I'm excited to be able to talk 2021 wide receivers. Are there any parameters, anything that we've got to say before we get into the actual nitty gritty of the evening?
I am going to try at certain points to pick up one of the whiskeys that I'm drinking to match it with the receiver. So, like, if we get one of the guys who's always open, I'm going to have some Brooklotic, because in my house, Brooklotic's always open, right? So, little silly shit like that. But no, there are no rules.
Gotcha.
Let's get through as many as we can. Let's see how much ground we can cover.
Should we get the bomb out, the YouTube countdown bomb that we used last year? That worked really well. We were like, Pete was like halfway done with his analysis on the receiver, and then the bomb.
That's right.
JMic, Gabe, anything else?
No,
Start the bomb clock.
We probably should have a timer for me. We're just going to go ADP order, definitely, to start, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there anybody?
Can we play a quick game? Can we play a quick game to start?
Yes.
I'm going to count to 3, and you're going to say who your number one wide receiver is. We're all going to say at the same time who your number one wide receiver is for 2021.
First and last name?
Just last name.
Okay.
Just last name, all right?
But what if that's like, arbitrary? What if we both say a more, how will we know?
Then that'll make it even more awkward and fun.
There are no common names in the top.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Adams.
Hey,
we didn't even
and that's the show.
See y'all next year.
We are just chalk AF.
Devontae is the chalk, and Tyreek's the next guy on ADP. Are either one of you guys not on Tyreek next?
I don't mind Diggs there either.
Okay, yeah.
Just on volume. I think they both hold the same risk as far as like their fragility, with their lower body injuries that they may reappear. But I'm okay with Diggs. Allen, dude, I'm gonna, me and so many people I think are gonna eat crow. So this is the crow pin bar where we are eating so much of it, man, for Josh Allen. I want to apologize now in advance.
You were a detractor?
So wrong. I got in fights, not literal physical fights. I couldn't hang with the mafia in regards to that, dude. They come after you on Twitter, and I didn't want to fight. They did the time thing, on Twitter where they're like, remind me in 6 months. They did that to me, and they like totally.
I had a guy do that to me with Eric Ebron last year. I never really heard from him though.
Interesting.
So I'll tell you what, real quick, I'll give my rationale for why Adams and Hill are like in their own area. For me, it's just like all these guys are great. So like we can sit here and argue which receiver is the best, like up and down, and we can go down to like the top 15 and make arguments that he's the best guy in football. What makes him better usually is the situation past them just being good. And Adams and Hill have Rodgers and Mahomes, right? So these guys are both alpha targets. Neither one of them plays with a strong second receiver. So they're alphas who are going to get the ball like an alpha from a Hall of Fame receiver. That's a pretty unique combination for a receiver to have in fantasy. So, that's where the separation comes for me with Diggs and Ridley, who are like my next guys. Those guys are, I love them, and they're also going to get nice target loads, but Rodgers and Mahomes, man, that's special. Those guys are different.
Yeah. I want to jump in on Diggs real quick because I do have Diggs at 2, but like I said, I have a 4-person first tier. And the thing about Diggs is
we got to talk about that fourth one.
The thing about Diggs, at least for me, is what's holding him back from leading the league in targets again. I don't think there's much to keep him from doing that or coming close to that ceiling again, unless you just start talking about the issues that he's currently having with quote unquote injuries and him being held out, things of that nature. But notwithstanding, I don't see anything holding him back from doing a similar thing where he's a top target in the league. And if he's going to get 150, 160 targets, I've got my money on him to be as good as anybody this season. So that's why I have him in that same tier with those guys.
Sure. I mean, he's my 5, but I mean, only because the only people in front of him are amazing. So like, I don't have him value-wise. I don't have him very far down. I just, for me, Ridley and Diggs have to work a little bit harder because their quarterbacks are good, not necessarily Hall of Fame good. And who knows, maybe Allen gets there someday. Why don't we all rip our top 5 real quick? Why don't we just one so we see where we're at? Because you guys don't know who I have ahead of Diggs yet.
Well, one thing
it's not real hard.
Say...
You just wrote up on.com.
Wow, we're plugging already. Jeez. All right, should we run the ads then? Should we run the open bar?
No, the ad. Well, Brad Pitt didn't show up the other day, so the ad never got completed. But
yeah. Thanks,
someday.
Brad.
It's not right.
Thanks, Brad.
Some heavy thing with the kids. I don't know.
Yeah, out eating a sandwich or something. He's always eating in films. I always loved that about Brad.
Or throwing someone into a car. That scene in freaking. What's the name of that? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The Bruce Lee scene was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, agree. That one underwhelmed, but still a solid movie.
Yeah, definitely. It had style.
Yeah, true.
The movie had style.
So what wide receiver has style but will underwhelm this year?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, Gabe, were you about to make a point on Diggs?
I wanted to say real quick on Diggs, just because I know Tyreek and Adams, they scored, I guess, like a normal-ish, amount of touchdowns for their being wide receiver ones where they ended up, especially Adams. And Diggs scored like half as many as them. What was it, like 8, 9? So, I mean, that's always there. That's mostly luck, but I mean, Josh Allen has the volume for that. Like, yes, Mahomes and Rodgers are great, absolutely great, but Adams will at least have the volume for that and the potential for those touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely arguing like which guy's the greatest. Like, these guys are all great. So here, I'll rip my 5, then you guys go. I mean, for me, Devontae, Hill, Ridley. I have DK just a little bit over Diggs, just because I like to play to win. And look, I have DK Metcalf with 20 touchdowns in his range of outcomes. So for me, I occasionally want to play it that way. But I absolutely – and I also rank 0.5 PPR. I mean, in full PPR, I might just push Diggs. That might be enough to just – basically I have them in the same spot. I had to list one of them first. And my thing with Diggs is I've had him on like every dynasty team I've almost ever had. I've had him for so long. I love the guy. But he is a guy who gets dinged. And when he gets dinged and he plays, he tends to not play as well. He did sort of buck that trend last year, though. I'll give him that. I love him. What about you guys? You want to rip off your top 5 real quick?
Go for it, Gabe.
Okay, sorry. I was just acknowledging the chat.
Huh. What you looking at?
Well, it is the Fantasy Highland after all. So.
What's your damn top 5?
All right.
And does your top 5 have a Glenn in it? That's the big question.
It does have a Glenn that you've already mentioned.
Glenn Ridley.
Yeah, true. He's in there. I want to talk about that tier 1 with JMic, because I almost put Ridley up there, and I think he deserves to be with those top 4, honestly. And I
sure
would maybe
he's my
even
3.
Switch that up. Yeah. And I have him at 4, but I just don't really care with those 4 right there. So Adams, Hill, Diggs, Ridley, and then for some spice, not a Glenn, but potentially a Glenn, Terry McLaurin. Glenn.
Ooh, you got McLaurin in the 5 hole, huh?
I got him. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Dude, Fitzy, baby. The volume, man. The volume is there. He's earned his targets. There will be so many passes.
One of our trading buddies in a league that we're in together has tried to trade Fitz to me today. So
Yo,
Tyler, he's there. I see Tyler in the chat.
he's gonna pop up here in a minute. Terry McLaurin. Oh man, I remember last season when that was my guy, and apparently he's no longer my guy. He's your guy.
I love Terry McLaurin. I love him.
I do too. That's really
fan.
fun. That's really fun. I'll have my top.
I don't have him as high, but I mean, I have him he's my 10th guy. I mean, I have him pretty high.
Okay, then that's going to be a really fun conversation. So I guess I'm probably breaking the middle. Devontae, Diggs, Hill, Ridley, all a tier of guys who I see eclipsing an absurd amount of targets. And at number 5, this wouldn't be a podcast with me on it if I didn't have Justin Jefferson at 5. That's Justin Glenn Jefferson. Justin Glenn Jefferson. So the reason that I have him, and listen, I think that he can be awesome, and he can not finish top 5 and still have a really awesome year. But what he did last season obviously was special. One of the questions that I have is how committed are they to actually getting him the rock consistently in Minnesota and doing it with everything that they've got going on in reference to wanting to run the offense through Dalvin. Thielen, hopefully, obviously being healthy and coming back around this season as well. I never really bought into the Irv kind of becoming a real thing that was going to threaten for targets in terms of with Jefferson, but Jefferson's my 5, but I do have him a tier behind those guys as well. And this next tier, I think, is what's going to be really fun to get into.
Okay, not to mention Irv looks to be out in the first bit of the season.
Yes,
too, so.
Yes. And I'm going to give just a sip of Bruichladdich for Justin Jefferson because he's always open. So we're going to take a sip.
It's true.
Absolutely. We
haven't even seen the amount of targets that he can get too. And so, I mean, just incredibly efficient with them. So maybe that potentially regresses or something, but then targets can go up and just even it out of sorts.
Oh yeah.
So
like if Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams switch teams, they'd probably switch spots in my rankings. Let's just put it that way. Devontae would then be sharing with another great receiver, and which Jefferson would be the alpha with no real partner on the other side, and he'd have Rodgers feeding him ball after ball, and the targets would flip and the value would flip.
Yep.
So
that's the boring part about this job is when we have to divide people that way, but it's true.
The chat, they're not throwing out their I guess we got some talking about Diggs in top 5-ish from Dave, Toronto Dave. DK might be up there in the top 5 maybe, and we've got a same top 4 and then Allen Robinson at 5.
See you, Walito.
I got Allen at 9, and I mean I think you're not going to get in trouble taking him at 5. That's for sure. He's the Terminator, man. That's what I call him. He just keeps going, no matter who's throwing him the ball, he just succeeds. So
before we leave this top 5 and venture elsewhere, just when you're looking at your drafts right now for redraft, let's say that it's full PPR. Let's say that it's your standard start two running backs, 3 wide receivers. We can call it. Well, let's not call it super flex for the sake of this conversation.
Super Glenn.
Yes. Where are you looking at? So the bottom of your top tier, or obviously for you, for you, Pete, we go into tier 2 with these next guys. Are you looking at these guys at the end of the first, at the middle of the second, into the second? Where would you be happy, or where are you looking at targeting these guys, the top guys?
I'll go real fast. I think Hill and Adams are targetable anywhere you want after McCaffrey. So anywhere you want to target them. I mean, I think they're viable anywhere. For me, Adams probably falls around pick 4 or 5, Hill around 7 or 8 or 9, Ridley fringe first round, and Metcalf and Diggs also viable fringe first round. So, I mean, sometimes guys, like whether you land first or second sometimes has to do with, well, there's 2 running backs on the board and 1 receiver I want. So I'm going to take the receiver and wait for the running back or vice versa. So a lot of the time that stuff is just stuff that shakes out in the laundry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like who goes where at the turn.
Yeah. All right.
And Jefferson is the guy I pray slips to me late second. He's the guy I'm just saying, come on, JJ, please. Come on, get to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to get Adams, Diggs, Hill at the end of the first. Not as much early second. I haven't seen Adams outside of the first. And not Hill really either. Maybe a couple times, but
right.
Diggs is actually usually pretty easy to get into the second.
Sure.
Unless someone really likes him, like JMic.
Right. The 5 guys in my top 5 and the top 4 that we all seem to agree on, the 4 guys that are in all of our top 5s, I've seen all of those guys in round 1. Definitely. Diggs as well.
The nice thing about McLaurin though is that you don't have to do the first round, and often not even the second round. So
yeah, all my McLaurin shares are in the third, and I feel good every time I do it.
So when we look at the all sites ADP here, one person that's missing from all of our top 5s, but looks like is firmly wide receiver 4, according to all of the sites in terms of the composite ranks there, DeAndre Hopkins, Arizona's finest.
I mean, I wouldn't argue with anybody taking Nuke really anywhere in the second. I mean, I think he's a little bit of a stretch in the first, but the volume should be there. I sort of feel like Green and Rondale are going to do a lot of short area stuff, which could open Nuke up to do more intermediate stuff because he had to do so much get the ball out kind of stuff because of the way that offense was set up and because they didn't have anybody else to throw to. He may be more efficient now and he may be more penetrating with the routes and make more big plays. That would be cool.
Yeah. I think I don't know. Obviously he's still going to be the number 1 target and the best receiver and volumes there. And I'm just curious how they divvy it up now. If they have a target of attack with Rondale there and Green, like you said, but also Kirk stretching the field. Like, I don't think Kirk's even that bad. I don't think he's necessarily dead yet. And the running backs as well. Edmonds is huge out of the backfield. Connor is mostly just kind of goal line dude, and Kyler running a lot. I think just the volume in general is like sort of down for Hopkins. So I don't have him top 5. I've more towards like the bottom half of the wide receiver ones. So
he comes in after Jefferson for me. So he's 7.
Yeah. I'm not really, I'm kind of avoiding Hopkins for the most part, but I do like Kyler.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm avoiding Hopkins, but I'm not knocking.
No.
I'm not knocking people over to get to him either. But
sure, yeah.
What about you, Jim?
I just think, well, with Hopkins, one of the things I find interesting is like he's obviously the center of the universe there in Arizona. One of the questions become, is he gonna lap the field again when it comes to targets in Arizona? So like we were talking about, Christian Kirk was, I think, at 79, 80 targets last season, and Nuke was at 160. So if we're looking at him lapping the field again and Rondale's not going to be able to make a cutout and James Conner isn't going to do anything, I mean, I'm just talking about total number of actual targets.
No, I'm with you. I agree. I think I'm with Gabe. I think his targets are going to come down a little bit, but I also think that each target could be worth a little bit more if he's not constantly having to play the underneath game, because they had trouble protecting. They had trouble getting other guys open. So, I mean, he ran a lot of routes that I don't think were optimal routes for him. They were the routes they needed him to run. And now that they've got a professional guy like Green, who, I mean, yeah, he looked a little washed, but he can definitely do, underneath stuff. And I think Rondale Moore, when he's not trying to lift the lid, he's going to be doing a lot of, drags and stuff underneath. So that should allow Nuke to do some of the things we used to see him do with Watson. And if that's the case, he could lose 10, 15, 20 targets and still come close to the old fantasy numbers.
All right. Very good.
Sorry, that was long-winded.
No, you're good. That just puts a bow on Hopkins. Let's move on. There's Calvin Ridley at number 5, and I think that we all touched on Ridley being one of those guys who are firmly in our top 5. So let's keep it pumping there if we can.
Yep.
I think the next name that we haven't really addressed thus far is going to be going down to where we'll pass DK Metcalf at number 6 in ADP. Justin Jefferson's at number 7 ADP. Justin Glenn Jefferson, excuse me. And then coming up here, wide receiver 8, who was my wide receiver 1 coming into this offseason, AJ Brown.
Yeah.
AJ Brown out of Tennessee. The Julio signing scared me. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Julio signing made me nervous. It made me nervous.
We talked about this last year, right? Like, I mean, sometimes we fall in love with these sort of like target dream scenarios, like, oh, he's going to get everything. And he, but I mean, I don't know how realistic it was that AJ Brown was just going to be like the only guy. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, Julio's a little bit of a shock to the system because he's Julio. But it's not like they've got a ton of guys to throw to. I mean, Ferkser's going to get a little bit. They brought in the kid from the Rams, but I sort of feel like you've got two big dogs. You've got the big dog in the backfield. There should be plenty to go around for AJ Brown and Julio. And the thing about Julio is he should extend drives for them. Like the rising tide lifts all boats. If this makes that offense harder to defend, they may just move the ball more and more plays, more targets, more. I mean, the way Tannehill played last year, throwing to Julio and Brown, with the big dog back there doing his thing, that's some good action. It really is. So I feel like Julio. I mean, look, I'm with you in terms of like Brown could have made a run at the top spot maybe, and now he probably can't. But man, he's still really good. Like I'm still like if I'm a dynasty guy, I'm not down on AJ Brown one bit. Let's put it this way: I'm concerned more about his knees than I am about the Julio thing.
Yeah. Shout out to our dude Edwin. He's followed along that AJ Brown offseason knee surgery stuff, and he's a little weary about it. I think he's kind of intrigued for sure.
There's no way to spin it as a plus.
Yeah. And so with Tannehill, you gotta think that he needs to throw more because I mean he's like bottom half in the league as far as attempts. So yes, Julio's there, so that's better than Corey Davis. Corey Davis plus. I would imagine that he's going to get more than Corey Davis. So AJ Brown at what wide receiver? I'm seeing 6 last year ish in points per game. Mm-hmm. I think that's like about right. Like that's kind of a ceiling of sort. Not necessarily because he's just so explosive and dude can like literally has no ceiling. Like he could literally be the wide receiver 1, but just with respect to Julio, put some respect on his name.
Well,
respect on it.
I think we've mentioned everybody in my top 10 now. I think we've hit all of them. Devontae, Tyree, Calvin, Metcalf, Diggs, Jefferson, Hopkins, AJ Brown, Allen Robinson, McLaurin. On some level, we've mentioned all 10 of those guys. I think it's just worth noting. I mean, it's like there's just not that much separation spot to spot with this group. I mean, I have the top 2 guys higher and then Ridley. Yeah, I mean, I have the top 5 and then Jefferson and then maybe a little separation from the other 4. But these guys are all really desirable options. And so, like, we're really splitting hairs when we're talking about, which guy. I mean, if somebody tells me, hey, I want to take McLaurin at 8 instead of AJ Brown, I don't know, okay, shit, makes sense to me. There's just some stuff. It's like, why even push back? The stuff is so close. So I'm just sort of throwing that out there that, like, I can argue Diggs versus Ridley, but the truth of the matter is, I have them in an almost a dead heat.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm on the clock and they're both there, I'm like, all right, well, heads, tails, it's that close.
I mean, but obviously not all these guys are going to be wide receiver 1s and we're not going to hit on everything either. And you're just hoping to be sort of right, plus or minus so many things, barring injury or whatever, but like,
barring injury, these guys in the top 10, I think they will be, but
but like history says that, like, shout out PA Howdy. I put him onto the Excel spreadsheet, something that I would always kind of look at as like, how often do these guys repeat year after year? And as wide receiver 1s, it's only like 5, 6, maybe 7. So like the wide receiver 1s last year, Adams, Hill, Diggs, Hopkins, Ridley, Jefferson, Metcalf, Lockett, Robinson, Thielen, Evans, Brown. Maybe 3 of those guys are not in the top 12 right now. So, I mean, 3 or 4 are probably not going to make it. We don't know who.
Sure.
But I don't know. So what I'm saying is I don't hate like throwing guys back if you just are avoiding it. Like, but
yeah, no. I mean, usually when really great players don't make it, it's because something went wrong, some type of peripheral thing happened, right? There's an injury or whatever. Did anybody who we really thought was going to be great last year flop just on performance? Like, I'm not sure if any of them did.
From ADP and the
I'm saying it's
our rankings from last year.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, like, sometimes it's like, well, statistically, like,
no,
I remember
we had no misses, I don't think. But
no, we definitely but like a lot of people were saying, like, how many quarterbacks went in the first round this year? Was it 6 or 5?
5.
It was 5, right? So I a lot of people are going, okay, well, statistically, 2 or 3 of these guys are going to bust. They have to. That's what stats say. And it's like, well, I understand the point you're making, but I have all 5 of these guys making it. So I'm not going to sit here and try to assume that statistics say one of these guys is going to bust. I have all 5 of these guys ranked pretty highly, so I'm going to assume all 5 are actually not going to bust,
I think that's probably one. I mean, if we knew busts from like the top end like that,
well, no, I mean, look,
know
a couple
we'd be
years
where
ago,
we are.
I mean, well, listen, there's guys that go high that I don't like, right? I mean, I didn't like Daniel Jones. I didn't like Josh Rosen. And there's guys I didn't like who ended up being good. I wasn't as high on Deshaun Watson as I should have been. I mean, I liked him, but I've been even more high on him. So, I'm just saying with this group, like most years, it's like, okay, here are the guys who went in the first round. Somebody's going to be a bust. I'd be like, yeah, it's going to be him. But in this group, I really don't have one. I mean, I would have said Mac Jones just because of the 5. I would say him, but I don't think he's going to bust. So anyway, all I'm saying is sometimes we're like, yeah, this group feels a little light. But for me, this top 10, when I look at it, except for A.J. Brown, we talked about the knees. Maybe that could be a thing. But the rest of these guys, the target volume is so good, and they're talented. Maybe we could get down on McLaurin a little bit with the quarterback. Maybe Allen Robinson, we could talk quarterback, but dear God, the guy was like an All-Pro with Bortles. This is a pretty Teflon-looking group. That's all I'm saying.
Dave, you nasty.
And we need to
nasty. We see you.
Pause. I didn't say pause, did I? Top 12 ADP. Top 12 ADP from last year, wide receivers. Michael Thomas, not fair. Got it. Injury. Adams made it. Julio. What happened with Julio? Just a meh, I guess.
He was hurt most of the year.
Yeah, hurt most of the year, I guess, too.
Not playing healthy very often.
Hill was there. Hopkins, Godwin. Godwin and Evans were in the top 12 of ADP, which I remember us maybe discussing. That was crazy. being in the top 12, being in the ADP as the top 12 is like nuts. Like that's a lot of respect to Tom Brady, and I think they're maybe more appropriately ranked right now. But Golladay was in there. He obviously didn't make it, but that was kind of sort of injury as well. Maybe Thielen. He actually made it, and now he's getting the disrespect apparently.
Right.
A-Rob was in there. DJ Moore, he's dropped significantly. Odell, he got injured. So
yeah, I mean,
a lot of it's predicting injuries, and that's not fair.
Yeah, and I have DJ at 13 this year, so I haven't moved that far off of him on the down year. The guys I missed on are Beckham, who got hurt, and I might have missed on him anyway, and Julio. I'm looking at my top 10 now. Those and Mike Adams. Mike Thomas, who obviously got hurt.
Sure.
So I don't know. Most of my misses last year are guys who ended up not playing.
So let's take a look back at ADP for this year.
Not that it should be hard to pick the top 10 guys. We should miss that much in the top 10.
Right.
Like not something to flex on. Don't get me wrong.
So finishing out the top 12 for wide receiver ones in your 12-team leagues, we've got Keenan Allen at wide receiver 9, Terry McLaurin, previously mentioned, at wide receiver 10, Allen Robinson, wide receiver 11, and C.D. Lamb out of Dallas at wide receiver 12. Pete, pick your favorite and run with it from there.
Well, is CD's my 12? Is he your guy's 12? Does either one of you guys have him at 12? He's easy to sneak into that 12 spot.
CD's my 12, and he's in a tier by himself.
Okay. What about you, Gabe?
Can you fit a Glenn into CD somehow?
I was working on that before. It's pretty tough.
CD Lamgren.
Yeah, maybe CD's an Irish whiskey or something. I
know we stopped top 5 at McLaurin, but we should have kept going to 6 because CD Lamb.
Oh,
at 6.
Hey.
Wow, that's bold. I mean, I have him at 12, but it's basically because I couldn't figure out who to put at 12. I'm like, 12 is where things get wide open for me. Like where it's like with that
I hate how much he has risen. Because I think but I think he was behind Cooper at some point. Pause, and then he usurped. Shout out, open bar reference.
Shout out.
At some point, I don't know, throughout the off season, because the Hard Knocks hype certainly doesn't help. So, but dude. The volume, he's just gonna be good, man.
I love CeeDee Lamb. So I mean, I have him as a wide receiver 1, but man, they've got 3 very hungry receivers to feed. That's the thing.
I think they're gonna have 3 top 24.
I was just about to say, Gabe, you're making the case that maybe Lamb. So if you have him at 6, you're making the case that your bet is saying maybe he's not necessarily there on volume, but his efficiency is going to be outstanding.
I think it's a little bit of both, because I think I understand that there are 2 other dudes there to share massive amounts of volume, but I think that it's going to be so efficient. You're right, with Dak and the ability of all of those wide receivers to be able to get each other open, kind of all at the same time, and truly possible to have nearly 3 top 24. I think 3 top 30 for sure if everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
It sounds like you want something to happen. It sounds like this is like CD Love. Not.
Yeah.
He's so good.
It sounds like you want it to happen. I mean, listen. If you're right, then we all have Dak way too low. If he's going to have 3 guys in the top 24.
Yeah, I mean, he's always my 3rd QB off the board. Before the shoulder, I guess the shoulder thing kind of.
He's my 5, but I love him.
But then I'm fine now. Yeah, I'd have Mahomes, Allen or Dak basically, and then Kyler, and then I guess.
So Gabe's got that's. I mean, right now you've got bold call of the night. CeeDee Lamb at 6 is bold call of the night. So far,
drink. Bold call of the night. Drink. I don't know.
I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna drink Talisker because it's bold.
Oh. I was about to say, Pete, out of that quad group that we had there with Allen, McLaurin, A-Rob, CD, who you want to lift up right here in this group? My top 10 we've already ripped through a couple times. So then my 11th guy after that is Keenan. Just because, I mean, I'm always worried the guy's going to get hurt, but the volume should just be ridiculous for him. I mean, in full PPR, he's got to be 11, I think. He's the one guy that just feels natural. Just slot him in, and he belongs above everybody else on the list. And then for me at 12 is where it gets hard. Lockett, Deontay, Evans, Amari, CD, Robert Woods, Julio even. I think all these guys you could make an argument and not sound stupid. I guess before we leave this
for the 12 spot. Sorry,
no, you're good. I'll give my 2 cents real quick for A-Rob. I've got Allen Robinson in tier 2, like with DeAndre Hopkins. So I think that he replicates everything that you would like about DeAndre Hopkins at a much better price in your drafts. Aside from the talent at quarterback, unless Justin Fields is playing. So if Dalton's playing, A-Rob simulates all of what Hopkins does, except he has less target competition. And so maybe he's not going to get there on the volume, but his target, the lack of target competition, I think he's got the ability and the situation, the cocktail around him just right, pause, to be really special, specifically in this 21 season. And I had a really hard time separating him, Keenan, and Terry, and literally the reason that they're not in the group with Hopkins and AJ Brown and Jefferson is that I think that Robinson gets the target bump, and he's obviously Al Robinson's awesome, but he's already boxing out a really mad group already that's around him.
I mean, the thing about A-Rob, like I said before, it's like, I mean, maybe somebody can explain it to me. I just don't. I've never heard a good argument for not taking him. I mean, what's the downside? The guy just continues to win in the worst of circumstances, and now all of a sudden he may have a guy at some point, maybe even by week 2 or 3, who's going to open things up and suddenly start being able to dial things up and open up some routes for him, buy time. So. To me, we're going to get at least the Allen Robinson we're used to getting, and maybe if he finally gets elevated quarterback play, we could see a level of him that we haven't seen yet. So to me, it's like I'll buy that floor and hope that we get some new unseen ceiling.
Before we run away from Keenan Allen, I know this is Walito's guy. Walito's in the chat showing a lot of love. Appreciate you, Walito. But Keenan Allen, I feel like. And I'm still really jaded by Keenan Allen last year when he came in front of the camera. I'm going to play. Y'all got to play me. I'm playing tonight. And then he comes out, and I think he actually starts the game, but like maybe he gets like
limps around the field
in the playoffs, and then he was done for the night.
I remember watching that one. And I remember when he ran like his first route, and I was watching. I'm like, oh boy, that's not good at all. He was playing half speed.
Yeah, that hurt my heart. So Keenan's awesome.
You know what's weird about that game? He came out and ran a couple routes in the second half.
Yeah, it was.
And I remember being like, "What is he doing? Why are they putting him on the field?" But anyway, sorry.
But yeah, he's awesome. But again, we've got Eckler coming back. We've got Mike Williams, who everyone seems to have a resurrection of excitement about in his contract year. Everybody wants to make Donald Parham a tight end one. so I don't know what. But I feel like Keenan Allen is one of those guys who's going to give you a ton of targets. He's going to score a lot of points for you, and I think you'd be really happy again getting him. And if I can, here's the thing about most of my drafts: if I can get like 3 or 4 of these top 12 guys. You probably really can't get 4 without doing some maneuvering in the draft.
I was going to say, people have to help you a little bit to get 4.
Yeah. But if I'm picking, I would love to be able to get 3 of these guys, and it's just beautiful. Anyway, that's what I've got there. Any last words there on top 12?
Did we run through them each individually?
I can do mine real fast. I mean, Adams, Hill, Ridley, Metcalf, Diggs, Jefferson, Hopkins, Brown, Robinson, McLaurin, Allen, Lamb. I won't be able to do that in an hour.
Gabe.
Adams, Hill, Diggs, Ridley, McLaurin, Lauren, CD Glenn, Lamb, Jefferson, Hopkins, Allen, Robinson, Metcalf. I don't think we talked about that, how like far down I have Metcalf, but he's just so dang high, man. And then like Lockett is so low. I want them both to be like, this is what happened last year. We both had them at like,
I was about to
15. We had them at 15 to 20, and I was like, no way they can both like go up together. And then they ended up doing that, but now only one of them is up there. So like, why?
I'm going to take the guy built like a transformer, man.
But they figured DK out.
Human.
They figured DK out.
Did they? Did they?
I don't know. And then AJ Brown to end the 12. So DK, like I don't like DK at 11 is not like bad. It's just that I don't think that he's wherever he's at 5 or 6. Like I think like we are talking about this huge tier. Like I think 6 and 12 are not that different. Like
you just that's exactly what I was trying to say before. Where it's like I mean you can move guys significantly in this tier without insulting them.
Yeah,
these guys are all really freaking good.
I've got close it out there. I've got Adams at 1, Diggs at 2, Hill at 3, Ridley at 4, tier. Justin Glenn Jefferson 5, AJ Brown 6, Hopkins 7, A-Rob
multi-copy league.
Yes, A-Rob 8, tier. McLaurin, Metcalf, Allen, tier, and then CeeDee Lamb is by his lonesome at 12. I want to say
I'm
more
the same
about
way with
McLaurin,
CD.
Yeah,
on the same way with CD.
He's awesome. McLaurin's about to eat something fierce this year.
Yeah, like so for me, it's like there's 11 wide receiver ones, and the wide receiver twos start at 12. That's sort of the way I see it.
All right. So next up in ADP, we've got what does Mike Evans have to do?
Yeah,
Mike Evans at wide receiver 13 in ADP. What say ye?
He needs to find a team without Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin. That's what he's got to do. You know, I mean, if this is another one, like if Mike Evans switches teams with Devontae Adams, they probably almost switch spots in the rankings. You know, if Devontae goes to a team with Antonio Brown and Godwin, then he's got a share, and then Evans is going to catch 12 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers, and you know, it's just the way it is. So it's not a diss on Evans to put him. I have him at 16. But, I mean, effectively, he could be 13, 12. He's right in that tier with Moore, Lockett, Deontay, Amari, Woods, Julio, Godwin, Kupp, Thielen. It's like a big, fat tier that I'm not about to fight with anybody over it.
For those not checking us out live on YouTube right now, Gabe is busting out that good. Gabe, do you want to share what's happening or what just happened?
Yeah, what is that?
Well, as our Rotobond says, giddy up. And I think horses do that. So,
damn.
You know,
that is very, very appealing.
Yeah. Tough to come by. Shouldn't have even poured it. Should have just waited 20 years. But here we are. I figured, you know, new 12, new pour.
I'm insanely jealous. I've got like 4 good whiskeys and I'm still insanely jealous.
Yeah. We haven't really shared our whiskeys tonight, aside from your always open Glen, whatever that was.
That's the Brooklotic is the always open.
Okay. I had a Weller.
Glenmorangie is the new stuff I haven't ever tried before.
Right. The fake Glen.
Right.
And I had a Weller special reserve for our top 12.
You know, what is that?
What is Weller? Well,
yeah, I've never had it.
But it's from Buffalo Trace Distillery, like everything else.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So I'll probably love it.
Yeah, no. It is there's a few in the family.
Do I want to know what it
very
cost
good.
you?
This one was fine. It was like $60 or $70, but
okay.
The story of Weller,
she'll threaten calling a divorce lawyer, but she won't actually make the call.
Yeah.
At 60, 70. If I bring home a bottle of Blanton's, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. that one was only like 80 or something, 85.
That's a really good price.
I know. I'm telling you, this liquor store in Wyoming is incredible. And I'm not telling you where it is, Twitter or Open Bar or anywhere.
Yeah, because I would go tomorrow.
Yeah. Weller has the Antique 107 that was like $25 2 years ago. Now it's $75. And
my buddy used to buy that
Weller 12 is really good too. Yeah.
Elmer T. Lee, he used to get it for like $40 a bottle. And then like overnight it went to 100 and then 110 and then you just couldn't even get it. Which sucks because I never even got to try it.
Oh, Blanton's, JMic. Oh man. All right, let's get busy.
Mike Evans, and it's funny we talk about Mike Evans, and this season, Gabe, you're going to be disappointed with me. I love Mike Evans, but I had to differentiate Mike this year, and he's a little further down than I typically would have him, and it goes back to our conversation from last year about, listen, man, don't ride the fence. Like pick one. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to have up? And for whatever reason,
all the time.
Stylistically,
I don't care.
Just stylistically with what Brady was trying to do last season and Godwin having his broken finger surgery and all that jazz, I really feel like Godwin's going to end up being his guy. Not to say Mike Evans isn't going to still eat. This is not I love Mike Evans.
Don't forget about Psycho.
You just had to say that so that we could edit it later and be like, no, I said I love Mike Evans. I said it.
I just wanted to be clear there.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are all, they have 3 alphas on the same team. How do you, it's probably going to come down to who gets hurt, you know?
Yeah. Sadly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my tweet? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm with you, JMic. I have Evans down as well. I have him like at 17 or something. So
I have him at 16.
I have
I've got him
Godwin.
19.
I have Godwin ahead of him.
Yep.
But I don't have Godwin like at. Obviously, we just went through our 12 wide receivers, and none of us had Godwin in top 12, right?
I have Godwin at 20, but only because someone has to be there. I mean, it's not like I don't think he's great.
Right. Yeah.
I have Evans leading the way with. Yeah,
tough.
I just figured Evans has a good chance at more touchdowns. So I put Evans the highest, but
I already have a question for Peter. Is Peter in here? Get the spreadsheets, Pete. I got a question. We'll post it on Twitter.
So in that grouping though, and we've touched on just about every person except for one in this group. So again, Mike Evans was wide receiver 13 ADP. Robert Woods, the one that we haven't talked about yet, LA Rams at wide receiver 14. Amari Cooper at 15, and Chris Godwin at 16. And I thought a really good question was asked in the chat again by our good friend Walito. Walito's asking, "Hey, what makes you have Lamb over Cooper?"
I mean, for me, it's the younger player more likely to stay healthy is the most direct answer to that question. I mean, I think they're very close. I think everybody in this range is really debatable. And I think one of the things we can do that isn't productive is waste time, like on this part of your draft board, trying to divide Cooper and Woods and Evans. Go with your gut. They're all really good. There's not much separating them. It's a good place to not waste a lot of time, to be honest. You're better off looking at information on the players behind these guys where there's more stuff to decide. I mean, these guys are all legit second receivers. Take the one that floats your boat. You'll be fine.
And Gabe,
pretty much.
Gabe,
I mean, you just have to. I think
there's one guy in this group that stands out a little for me. We haven't hit him yet.
Yeah. And Cooper had the better year last year, and finally had a great season, or not finally had, but like a season that we didn't necessarily have to worry about him, but we also didn't have Dak there to propel these guys up into the potential of 2 top 15, 2 top 12 type of season. Because I think that I'm not even hating on Cooper. I just think that Lamb is like gonna ball out. So.
Right, and Gallup. Someone's got to say the name. I just did.
Yeah.
Gallup. I mean, we can't forget about that guy. I mean, it's week 5, and you need a touch. And I need a touchdown out of Amari. You need a touchdown out of Lamb, and hey, two touchdowns for Gallup. That's how the game breaks. Like that's so realistic, right? So,
and what's scary is they might be playing, all 3 of these wide receivers might be playing all over the field. Sure. They want to do that with Lamb, and he already has the ability to do that. And they've been talking about, I mean, Cooper's been in the game. He's fine, but he can play wherever. But Gallup has kind of always been labeled as the deep threat guy. And he came out and said, no, like they've been putting me into the slot too. So, I mean, like imagine just being able to throw an XYZ at the board and say,
I mean,
go.
They can do a lot of different things for sure.
It's going to be nasty if everyone's healthy.
Yeah. So for me, I almost didn't push Lamb up to 12, to be honest, but he's so young and so talented, and the quarterback is so good. I figured, what the heck? But it wasn't like I felt great about doing it. The guy I was alluding to before is Deontay, who I think is sort of to me, he's the guy in this group where it's like if somebody could just sort of like target their way up and get it to another level, I think he's probably the guy. I mean, there's some potential downsides to him as well, but the way he's targeted to me is just very real. It's not going away unless the drops get so out of hand that he's not playing or something like that. But the way he gets off the line of scrimmage is real. That's a real thing. And with this offense, with the offensive line so porous, and Roethlisberger not in a position to get hit all the time, I just feel like he's going to continue. That peppering of targets is not going away. So I've got him at 15, and I wouldn't mind moving him up a spot or 2, to be honest.
Last guy I want to talk about in that group with Robert Woods. I feel like Robert Woods is no longer our honorary Mike Evans. What does Robert Woods have to do? Like,
I think he's there.
At this point, he's wide receiver 14, and it looks like people are putting the quote unquote proverbial respect on Robert Woods' name. Let's jump down a little bit. Just real quick. Where do you all have Robert Woods? real quick.
I have him at 18, but he's one of these guys where it's like, man, how can I get Robert Woods higher? Like, I have him at 18, but I want to find a way to get him higher. I mean, I like Robert Woods. And I don't see any reason why Stafford would be bad for him.
Woods at 13 for me. So he's right there. He's the first wide receiver into that. Yep.
Totally reasonable.
Wide receiver too.
Outstanding. Let's take another chunk out of this group, and we take the age of our wide receivers, and it takes a precipitous jump up here. We've got Tyler Lockett at wide receiver 17, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 18, Julio Jones, wide receiver 19, and Adam Thielen. Nice little grouping here at wide receiver 20. Gabe, you can kick us off here. Pick one and run with it.
I may as well, carry on to carry on from the Josh Allen apology and continue with the Cooper Kupp apology, which I've done I've done both of these on the pod already, but I just want to continue to do it to make sure that people know how sorry I am to young Cooper. So I have Cooper at 15. So I think this is a team easily with 2 top 24 wide receivers, especially with Stafford. Like, Goff won't have to do his first read and hit Cooper Kupp down the middle. Like, he has the ability to actually make these receivers up in that top 15 range, both of them. So like, I don't really care. Like, if I miss, I usually, like, Woods usually goes first in ADP when we're in drafts. And like, if I miss on him, like, whatever, because I'm okay with Kupp, and usually Kupp goes like a round later. And I think that either one of them could finish as a wide receiver 1. And like I said, there's not a huge difference between like wide receiver 1 and like the 13, 14, 15, like whatever. So Woods and Kupp, man, I think they're going to have nice seasons. And our buddy in here, I think it was Walito again, talked about Kupp having the potential of hitting that top 5 as kind of a sleeper top 5 of sorts. And I don't hate it because he's been up there before. He was number 4 a few years ago. So
sure,
let's get it. Couplic apology, number 2.
So many couplic apologies.
I have Julio at 19, so I have him a little higher, I guess, in ADP. But I mean that group is pretty much as it lies. I didn't have anybody that in that whole group. I don't think I have anybody who's more than 2 or 3 spots away from the ADP. So I'm pretty tight with the ADP.
There's still a name that I have pretty early that still hasn't come up yet, but
actually, I mean, I do have DJ Moore at 13 and Lockett at 14, which is probably pretty aggressive for those guys.
Oh yeah,
I think so. I've got Lockett at 15, so I'm right there with you. Cooper Kupp is, you've already went there, Gabe. I think Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods have the chance to do some really fun stuff this season. I'm really excited about that Rams offense, but I don't want to dive off the deep end either. So I'll leave that.
You guys? I'm sorry. Did you have more left there?
JMic? Nope.
Okay. I was just going to ask you guys: have you changed your projections on Kupp and Woods? In the wake of the Akers thing, like, have you like upped their pass volume a little bit with Akers out? Like, I haven't really moved them much on my board, but I feel a little bit more aggressive in targeting them, if that makes sense.
Right. I think, maybe just ever so slightly, Henderson is the pass catcher kind of anyway of sorts. And then bringing Michelle in as well. I think that both of those guys and whatever they do with the other Rex Burkhead type of dude, whatever his name is, Funk, and what is it, Xavier Jones?
Jones actually, he did an Achilles, I guess, today. So Jones is now out of the picture.
I didn't see that one.
That just happened.
Phoneless, JMic. I have to Google.
Verizon, screw it up.
Verizon. So phoneless.
Mm-hmm.
I just picked that up on before we went on. So don't get too.
Breaking news: the open bar.
Yeah. The big stuff. Xavier Jones, a make or break player.
I will say real quick, no country for old men here with Julio and Thielen. Where do you all have them?
I'm very comfortable taking Thielen. I don't have him real high. I have him at 22, and I have Julio at 19. And I'm debating, the same thing with Woods. Like, I want to find a way to move Julio higher. but the people in front of him I like too. Like this is just a really nice spot to get really dependable, wide receiver twos. I mean, and you don't have to really fixate. There's so many good ones. But Julio really does, to me, feel like a guy where I said it on my site today. Like, I want to make sure I have some exposure to the 4th round Julio. Like, that's a nice price for Julio Jones. I feel like if I want to have a little bit of that because he could be a league winner at that price level. All he needs to do is bounce back to being Julio, and he's a league winner at that price level.
I think I'm out on Julio this season, just at cost, just because I
want exposure. I don't want to have no Julio, is what I'm saying. I feel like when him that price, I want to make sure I'm in on that somewhat because he could smack that. Julio Jones in the 4th round. What if he scores 12 times?
He could smack that.
He could. He really. I mean, like
that.
I feel like Tannehill is more nuanced than Ryan in some ways. I feel like Tannehill may be able to get more out of Julio in the red zone than we've seen. I could be wrong. I probably am.
I just have a hard time, and obviously Julio's great. I just have a hard time seeing him come to this run first offense and then also usurp AJ Brown. I know Julio's.
He doesn't need to usurp him, right? He doesn't need to usurp him, right?
I can't see them.
Like you guys are just talking about guys. 3 top 24 guys on Dallas. Why not have 2 top 15 guys on Atlanta on the Titans?
Because the volume's going to have to be there, and I don't know that that's going to be the case.
Well, we only have to support 2 guys, really.
They are elite, and that they truly are. They do need to throw more.
I mean, gosh, if you've got AJ Brown and Julio Jones, aren't you? Maybe they could go all Pete Carroll. Yeah, maybe you guys are right. I mean, and look, Vrabel is that kind of dude. So this one will be fun.
Not even 4,000 yards for Tannehill last year with the season that he had. I mean, a lot of touchdowns, both between passing and rushing. Like, I don't see 4,000 yards is not going to give you 2 top 15 wide receivers.
But I'll tell you what. Let's go back. Let's go to. I'm going to have to look this up. But if you go back to Atlanta, one of the seasons that Shanahan was there, I think it was his 2nd season there.
In tandem with the attempts, by the way.
Yeah, well, if you go back and look at Atlanta, I think it was Shanahan's 2nd season. I want to say that Ryan came close to 5,000 yards. I want to say he threw 4,900 yards, and it was on a really low attempt number. So I'm just saying, a Julio Jones offense, when you put him next to another alpha receiver, you can hit an efficiency level where you don't have to throw a ton to get a high level of production. And I know that Shanahan did it with them 2nd year. I think it's the year they went to the Super Bowl. And if you look at Matt Ryan's yards versus his attempts, it's scary. It wouldn't surprise me if you got that type of efficiency from Tannehill with these 2 guys. And remember, teams can't sit there and go light in the box. You have to deal with the big dog. So, they're either going to put that safety in or they're going to get attacked heavy downfield. And this is a pick your poison kind of team because they can hit you deep. They can throw deep outside the numbers and they can pound the rock. That's a nice combination.
You are super right about the efficiency. I mean, yeah. But it's just if maybe it's more about just the idea of Tannehill. If I was talking about Russell Wilson, throwing
and I get what you're saying about
Julio and AJ Brown like that.
Right. Like to what JMic is saying, he's saying you see risk and I see it too. But what I'm saying is I see a ton of upside. So what I want is some exposure. Yeah. So if we get the risk Julio, that's okay because I'm not going to be overexposed. But I don't want to be way underexposed either because he's got a younger quarterback now. He had Ryan to me shows his age these days, whereas Tannehill, he's playing the best ball of his career.
He's just hitting his stride.
I mean, got to give the man credit. He's a guy that I had some fun with 5 years ago. I'm like, this guy's not good.
Yeah.
I was not good. He was. I was wrong. He was just stuck in gaze land.
So many people were stuck there.
Yep.
And I think this group behind Julio and Thielen to close out the wide receiver 2s, so 21 through 24 for ADP, I think this is why I'm.
This is where things get fun.
Well, this is why I'm not so bullish on Julio, because I start putting him name by name against, and obviously not comparing what they've actually accomplished on the field, but what I see from them moving forward. And all of these guys behind him are incredibly exciting pieces, as likely or possibly the ones in their offense. So I'll run these names off real quick. So DJ Moore at wide receiver 21, Carolina Panthers. Deontay Johnson, wide receiver 22, Pittsburgh Steelers. Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver 23 for San Francisco. And here at wide receiver 24 for ADP, T. Higgins, right down the street here in Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, this is an area where I'm either right there or higher than ADP. So, like for Moore, I'm higher than ADP. For Deontay, I'm higher than ADP. For Ayuk, I'm right there, dead on. And same with T. Higgins. I've got Ayuk at 23, Higgins at 25.
Can we get a little DJ Glenn Moore action?
Yeah, DJ Glenn Moore, sure. More Glenn Moore.
More Glenn Moore.
More Glenn Moore.
He's. I think to get a Glenn, you should be smooth, right?
Yeah.
Glens are usually like Highland whiskeys, nice and smooth. So,
absolutely.
DJ G Moore. They just didn't know what the G was for. I have
you could be a Glenn Godwin. You definitely can't be a Glenn Ayuk. That's not okay. That's not
gonna work.
I mean, I have Ayuk a little higher. I have him 18.
Yeah, I mean, if we can find the volume for Ayuk, he definitely can do that. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah,
there becomes a question. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this.
I think it's more about the efficiency again. Like,
I think the efficiency for that team is off the hook.
Yeah,
that like crazy efficiency, just efficiency up the wazoo.
But none of it. I mean, a lot of it.
Family shop.
It's true.
I am drinking.
But you are of age, so that makes it totally okay. Totally okay.
Yeah. And then some.
This is really interesting, because when you look at the last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3 guys in the top 24. so Juju was 16, Deontay Johnson was 21, Chase Claypool was 22, and Deontay Johnson was the target monster of the group. He had 144 targets. So on targets alone, you're looking at him being a top 12 type of player with that kind of target load. But between the time that he had with Mason Rudolph and the time that he had with Broken Big Ben and the dropsies, mixing all those things in, it was not a good look for Deontay. But if he can put it together this season, his ceiling is some really, really special stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the games, the guy just gets open. I mean, hey, little brooklotic for Deontay. I mean, the guy's always open, and he gets off the line like nobody's business. But one thing I think that we want to remember about Deontay, and I mean, I think anybody who plays DFS is going to remember this. He got knocked out of 2 games, like in the first series, first quarter, first play, I think on one of them. I mean, he had a couple games where he's listed as playing, but he played a fraction of the game. So, his numbers in some ways are even better than they look, for what it's worth, because you've got 2 games that were basically dead games that are listed as games he played.
Okay. I think it's impressive to have 3 top 24 wide receivers, but I think it's more impressive to have like 1 or 2 top 12 wide receivers, and then your third guy like kind of sneak in. And for like all of these guys are like bottom end wide receiver 2s.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of time supporting a lot of receivers just means you were in throw mode a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's just about unnatural pass volume.
And that's going to be different this year. They're going to pound Najee Harris. Like, just, I think far more than what we even think.
Offensive line
this isn't a running back show. I know, but
bad. I mean, I'm with you. They are.
I agree that the offensive line is bad, but to the point of having that the ability of those 3 wide receivers getting open often, there's going to have to be some sort of balance, and just with the volume itself, like of Najee Harris, like I'm not even talking about Najee being like the RB1 or an number 1 overall running back. Just the volume alone of how many plays and touches that Najee will get in comparison to the attempts that Roethlisberger will make. And I've seen the tweet before, and I've thought about it myself. Shout out Dave Kluge, hashtag Kluge. He's talking about the ADP of the Steelers wide receivers all being so high, yet Ben Roethlisberger's ADP being so low.
Well, there's some explanation for that.
Down in the 20s, but and there certainly is. But I mean, like what I'm alluding to is that I don't know if any one of those guys is a wide receiver 1, and they just appear to be more so heavily balanced where they're like in that 16 to 25 range, and they just succeed in that kind of quote unquote dead zone. But like, they're like best ball wide receivers to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love Claypool, and I want to see things happen for that guy because he's fun to watch. The problem for him is that we want to unleash him on the second and third level, and it's going to be hard for Pittsburgh to throw second and third level consistently. They're not going to have the time. And I know a lot of people think Roethlisberger's arm's dead. I don't really think it's dead. It's not what it was, but I don't think it's dead. I think that they don't want to lose him, and they want to get the ball out. I think a lot of it is just that's what it's going to be, unless that line is better than expected. If the line's better than expected, then things change. Then they run the ball better. Then they've got time. Then Claypool becomes dangerous. Then he maybe, really outperforms where I have him ranked. That's the thing with Pittsburgh is that they may not be able to dictate. They may not be able to play. They will be able to play the way they want to play. They may be forced to play the way they have to play.
Yeah, the way they have to play.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen their preseason that much. I haven't watched every down or anything, but everything I hear about the offensive line out of camp is not good. Right. And we knew it was a problem going in.
But I mean, just on the fact of volume alone, do you think that they will just feed Najee Harris no matter what? I mean, yeah, I do.
Okay. I've got him as a fringe RB1 based on volume and the fact that the thing about Najee, we can love him pretty easily because he's a receiver. The guy can catch the rock.
Right.
Roethlisberger can target a running back with anybody. So I'm not worried about Najee in terms of fantasy value. I'm worried about him in terms of running efficiency. I think if he was under 4 yards a carry, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no, I expect that honestly, but just the volume alone is what's going to keep him as a potential RB1.
And you know what the key is going to be? Is the offense going to work? Are they going to move the chains? And are they going to get him the scoring chances? If he's getting good, solid scoring chances, we'll be all right with him.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm too low on Deontay. But I've got him in this tier. This is my largest tier in this top 30. So
this is what we've been talking about. It's so easy to have a guy too low, and then the hardest thing is when you want to move your guy up. It's like, how do I get him up? These guys are all so damn good.
But I think I can make the case to get him up a couple of spots here. But from 13 to 19, and one guy that we haven't even discussed yet, I didn't bring his name up with DJ Moore. I've got DJ Moore at 18. I've got Deontay at 19. And but Deontay's that's the same tier as Woods, Cup, Lockett, Cooper, Godwin, Moore. John, if Deontay Johnson's going to be pushing 140 targets, 130 to 35 targets, then 19's too low. 19's too low. It just is.
It probably is, but again, the people you have ahead of him are legit. So it's it's not somebody has to be there, and whoever we put at 19 and 20, we're going to want to get higher. That's just the way it is.
Can we talk DJ Moore for a moment, just because of the promise that people love to have about DJ Moore and want so bad for him to be great?
The chat loves Terrace Marshall, so
right,
we might want to talk him down a little bit. Terrace Marshall, it's getting a little out of hand. I like him. If you go read my 4 for 4 article, he was one of my sleepers going into camp. But people talking about him scoring 12 touchdowns, folks, get off the crack. Come on, stop. Stop.
He's Chase Claypool.
Yeah. No, I really like Terrace Marshall. I think he's going to be a good player.
Harris Claypool.
But like, I think some people are trying to give him all the touchdowns that like DJ Moore didn't score and that like Robbie Anderson didn't score. It doesn't work that way. And you know, one of the reasons DJ Moore didn't score touchdowns last year is because his quarterback doesn't throw touchdowns. I mean, Teddy doesn't throw the ball well outside of the numbers at all, and he doesn't throw. And I love Teddy Bridgewater; he's one of my favorite players. But his weakness is what it is. He's not good throwing the ball downfield. He just isn't. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that DJ Moore struggled scoring touchdowns. Look who his quarterbacks have been. You know, Darnold isn't beautiful. He ain't pretty. He's got the Jameis Winston disease, but he can throw touchdowns. He can fill stat sheets. He might have too many picks at the end of the day, but he can fill stat sheets. I feel really good about the Carolina receivers. I like them all, including Terrence Marshall.
Do you see Robbie Anderson out targeting DJ Moore again?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think they're going to be close. It could. I mean, the ultimate answer to that question, JMic, could be who are teams going to try to take away more often. You know, a lot of times defenses dictate that stuff, not the intent of the offense. I'm high on both of them. My guess would be more, but you know, I like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore a lot this year because I just feel like that team doesn't have a great defense. I feel like they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So I'm really bullish on really all of the receivers, including Marshall. I just think some people are starting to like get a little out of hand with a rookie who hasn't really proven anything yet, and he's probably going to be the receiver who's playing the least snaps. You know, like my guess is Robbie Anderson around a 90% snap rate, DJ Moore also probably around 90%, and Marshall probably more like 60s, 70s. So right there, I think that's going to be an issue for him.
The one guy in this group that we hadn't discussed yet, T. Higgins, as wide receiver 24.
Ooh. Does anybody not like T. Higgins? Like, is there a person out there who doesn't like T. Higgins?
If you're out there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Like, I love him.
I just hate the Steelers and the Bengals that they have to have these like three great wide receivers all at the same time. And like,
Ty Boyd and
like where
it is tough.
They're all like they're all kind of like ranked okay. Honestly,
no, you're right. Like if
I just don't think that they like get any higher than where they're at, and that just like bums me out. And it's like if I'm looking for maybe more of a safety play, then I might take one of those guys. I do feel that they're like maybe honestly, I think it's like Chase and Deontay that have like a higher ceiling that of like each of those teams. But honestly, I kind of did it as a joke because I was drinking a Negroni and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I just put the Steelers and Bengals wide receivers in one tier together and just kind of alternated them of like the ones that I like the most. So
alphabetical order.
I like that.
So I just Deontay, T, Juju, Jamar, Chase.
You know what
Tyler
though?
Boyd.
Here's
got it.
There is. I mean, I think there is a positive way to play these trios of receivers where we get a little bit concerned about target volume and they're going to hurt each other's value and so on and so forth. If you can buy players like that at their floor, if you can buy them at a value where you're like, okay, I'm baking in the three receiver thing and I still feel like I'm getting him at value, even with the target competition. In those situations, you've got a lot of different ways for your guy to end up with anti-fragile value, if you will, right? So, if you take CD Lamb, well, all you need is Gallup or Amari to go down, and all of a sudden, your guy's taking off. If you take any of the three Bengals receivers and you don't overpay, you put yourself in a situation to really win out if something happens to Boyd, if something happens to Higgins, if something happens to the rookies. So same thing with Pittsburgh. If there's an injury to one of the big three and you didn't overpay for your guy, you're getting bonus scoring. So, there are, we get frustrated when we can't project victory laps from these guys from the get-go. But if we don't overpay, if we let them fall to us, we put ourselves in a position to profit.
Yep, you're right. But the bummer part about like the not necessarily the strategy that you just were alluding to, but maybe part of it is like taking the cheapest wide receiver
Yeah.
and that's going to be Boyd or Juju. And those are like the quote unquote slot guys. And they're just kind of like boring and their ceiling is somewhat capped. I mean, not really. It's hard to say that about Juju when he's had seasons that he's had, but that was also with Antonio Brown. I don't think we have Deontay Johnson as the next on Antonio Brown or Claypool or whatever. So I feel like they're just guys that you can take in the 30s and like have a good like flex play. Like they're totally fine with me, but I
mean, the thing about Juju is he
those
did
wide
lead,
receiver cores, man.
And I mean, look, we can, if you go through the season, we can maybe find some reasons why these numbers are the way they are. But if you look at just playing time last year, I mean, Schuster played 923 snaps to Claypool's 692 to Deontay's 733. So, I mean, that's a real thing. Now, granted, we already mentioned that Deontay had a couple games where he lost a lot of snaps just because he got banged up. So that's a factor right there. But like when the urge to downgrade Juju because he plays slot, he also plays a ton of snaps. So we have to be careful.
Right. Yep. That's why those are those are easily my least favorite teams to rank. Like I don't.
For me, the money they gave Juju says we want to play you.
Yep.
They gave him like $8 million, so I think he's going to be on the field.
Are there any guys in your all's top 24 that we've yet to mention this evening?
Hold on. Let me reply to.
But it's a very complex
Dynasty Hot Sauce Pod and saying time to get sauced.
I'll throw. I've got one as well. Who do you have?
Oh, I've got one.
Okay, everybody's got one.
Well, I thought I already did. Oh no, I guess Ayuk is he in the top 24 ADP?
Yeah.
I kind of threw him up there.
Yes, I did mention him. He is wide receiver 23.
Yep, and he's my 23. So there you go.
Honestly,
he is so much fun.
I'm gonna have two.
Oh, well then you got to go first.
Yep, I agree.
Gabe, you're gonna be happy about this. OBJ, OBJ at 24. I've got OBJ.
He's coming up on my board too.
He's up there too for me.
Yeah, he's the beginning of that tier that has Julio and Thielen and company for me. So 24 and down. That's what that looks like. I think a healthy OBJ season could be a lot of fun to see in Cleveland. I don't really want to wax poetic because I know this is Gabe's guy. I don't know if he's going back to the well or not. The one person I do want to mention though.
This is all of our guy. Odell is my guy too.
I've
lost so much money on him the last couple of years. I keep going back to the well with Odell Beckham. He's so damn good.
And Gabe, I'm sorry ahead of time. I've made the bet for Judy this season over Cortland Sutton. I've got Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver 21, and I'm rather bullish on Jeudy, specifically from Pete. I think this is your always open moment here. This is your
up.
Wow.
Yeah, but
I don't know. We're pouring. It's okay.
Yeah. So
Jeudy is a great route runner. I'll give it to you.
This is a moment where it didn't matter who his quarterback was going to end up being. He was going to be someone that the quarterback could rely on. And now that we're seeing that as Bridgewater, even if he's careful with the ball at times or whatever the case may be, I think Jerry Jeudy really takes a step forward as the focal point of the passing offense because he can do so many things from the slot and on the outside. Still a Sutton fan. It took me a while to get there, but I'm with Gabe now, and that Sutton's obviously dope. Okay, I get it. But I think that Jeudy is the sun in the Denver Broncos solar system.
Yeah, it's a little too easy to say that Locke was going to be better for Sutton and that Teddy's going to be better for Jeudy, but I do think that is the case. It's probably not as extreme as we make it out to be. I still think Sutton can do well with Teddy, and I think Locke could have done okay with Jeudy, but I give Jeudy a bump up because I think Teddy is a timing thrower and he's a timing route guy. So I think they should fit well together.
Sure. Funny that you say Jeudy is the sun when everyone else is Cortland Sutton's sons.
Well, hey, listen,
You didn't think of that.
don't let me not allow you to loosen up your Suttons here. Do your thing, man. Do your thing, man.
Don't give me no son.
Don't give me no son, man. Hey.
At JMic, I also have a confession.
Uh-oh. After all that.
I know.
Hey, did you mention your second guy? You only mentioned your first guy, right?
He said OBJ and Judy.
OBJ
and Judy.
That's right. My bad.
And I have those same two. I have the same two, JMic. But I know I'm super phony on OBJ. But look, I don't know. Like, all right, I don't know how accurate these ranks are, because I literally, I'm not kidding, I put a tier of the Bengals and Steelers wide receivers. So I don't really know where they land, but I just want to say this, that I think I'm just listening to the Sutton thing, and it seems like he's not ready. Doesn't seem like he's 100%, and I don't know if he's going to be 100% until the first quarter of the season. And I do like Bridgewater. I do think that he can support maybe 2 top 24, certainly 2 top 30 wide receivers, which is kind of where I'm at with Judy and Sutton. And I have Judy above Sutton right now. That didn't feel good, but just based off of what I've heard about Sutton, I still think they can both succeed. And I do like the fact that Judy is going ahead of Sutton and Sutton's falling, so I can still get Sutton in those wide receiver 30 to 35 range and still.
The one thing we should probably talk about when we're talking about Bridgewater supporting multiple guys, Fant is sort of like a receiver in this offense. So Fant is another guy who's going to steal volume, and I think he's going to steal volume in ways that we don't always see tight ends stealing volume. So for what it's worth, I think Fant could end up hurting Cortland Sutton's volume too. And I think Fant fits okay with Bridgewater.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Man, it would be.
And by the way, my guy's different. You guys are the same guys. My guy's different.
We've been talking about. I said it'd be cool if Julio and AJ Brown had Russell Wilson. It would be very cool for the Broncos team just to have a different quarterback. Period would be really neat. And it just sucks because they're going to be like a 7 and what's the math now? 10 team, and just be at that
I haven't heard too many people talk
10,
about
12
that.
spot. And they're going to not have a good QB again. And
you can't be Jeff Fisher anymore.
Ugh.
You can't go 8-8. You can't be 500 no more. There's no 500 teams.
Tanking's about to be real, with the NBA. They're going to have to do the lottery.
So do you guys want to guess who my 24 is? Who my guy is? Because you guys both were Judy and Odell, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't think you're gonna get it.
I've got 2 guesses. Is it Kenny Galladay?
No,
It wouldn't be Galladay.
I got Galladay at 40 right now.
I think
I like him too.
I think it might.
He's hurt.
It might be Visca.
Nah, I love Visca.
Okay.
He's not this.
Let me get one more guess. One more guess.
And I want one more too.
Is it Juju?
No.
Okay.
Is it someone that we haven't talked about yet? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Period. The name has not been mentioned.
And here, I'll give you a hint. I'm going to give you a hint. Okay. I have him at 24, but I'm basically telling people you don't target him here. You don't have to anymore. You can get him later.
Okay.
Anymore?
Yeah. So let me just. It means he's not had a real good past 10 days, roughly.
Please don't say Michael Thomas.
No, it's definitely
okay. Good. No, Pete.
Michael Thomas had a bad 10 months. JMic.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Different duration of time there. I
was gonna guess a Dolphins receiver as my second guess, but no. All right.
No.
I guess I'm out of guesses then.
And I mean, I'm not particularly proud of this ranking.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
Clearly.
I'm just being honest. No, like this is. Do you want me to say it?
Yes.
Is it time? Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Jamar Chase. And I've thought about moving him down, but I just feel like this is sort of where he belongs, just because I feel like ultimately the volume is going to be there. But he's a 24. But what I'm telling people is, hey, target him much later. Target him much later. You can target this guy in the 6th, 7th round now, which is great. Ooh, that sounded good because it tastes good.
Yeah, and like you said, and I think it was accurate, the 10-day thing, Pete, because what's interesting is if you're looking on Underdog or anything, that if you were having any drafts, you're seeing Chase in that same group with T and a bunch of those guys that we've already discussed that people are really excited about. So I'm that's really interesting.
Did people really think this guy wasn't going to play football for a whole year? Show up at camp and just like run everything right.
They did.
Everything.
I think they did.
They did.
I think people did, and I still think I still think people don't. Never mind. I'm not even going to get into that.
Yeah.
No.
I was about to have a Justin Jefferson tweet in the midst of what I was about to say, but I don't want to get into that. Justin Jefferson's better than Jamar Chase. I don't care what y'all have to say, but keep going. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, look, Chase is a physical kind of guy. He's a bit of a bruiser. He's a guy who plays on feel sometimes. So, now he's in a new scheme and he hasn't played for a year. And the one thing that would really be great for him is that relationship he's got with his quarterback. But the quarterback's coming off an ACL too. So, the idea that these guys where they are right now is what they are, I think is crazy. And I think the idea that where they are now is going to be the same place they are in, say, 5 weeks is also crazy. I think these guys are going to get real good at some point. So, I still have him ranked there, but I'm being really clear with the people who use my stuff. This is where I value him, but his ADP is now, we have a buying opportunity now. You don't need to go use a 5th round pick on Jamar Chase. You can use a 6th or a 7th. Which means you can have Jamar Chase as your 3rd or 4th receiver, something like that. That's pretty sweet.
That's what's up. What were you about to say?
And hey, if you're a person who thinks this guy has lost his hands, he's never going to find him again, and this guy's just a dog who's going to drop passes, well, then don't take him. It's not hard.
It's just wide receiver. You got wide receiver 24, wide receiver 27, wide receiver 34. Are the ADPs of the Cincinnati wide receivers. And that's fine. They're just they're there. Like
it's not a great team. I think they're going to be in a lot of games where they have to throw. Unless Burrow is a problem, then that should work out fine.
I mean, if you're lucky, then one of those guys, not necessarily lucky, maybe there's something that there is a breakout certain that makes them propel into top 15, top 12. But this range typically doesn't really do much for us. And especially when you look at them all being from the same team, I would much rather have Judy basically, or OBJ. I think those guys, if you're really going to swing on something to have that wide receiver 26 for Odell, that wide receiver 28 for Judy, but have the potential of a wide receiver 1 season, I think that's there. Whereas these 3 freaking Bengals wide receivers are just
Well, for me, I understand what you're saying. For me, the guy who could break that would be Chase. I think he's the guy where if he gets it going, he could separate from the other two. But what we're seeing now says, well, that probably isn't happening week 1. So, it's
possible. I mean, look, Cousins did it with Thielen and Jefferson last year. We had 2 wide receiver 1s, entirely possible. We might just have 2 between, Chase and Boyd, Chase and Higgins, and one just gets dusted into the 50s, 60s of oblivion.
You want to draft players who can drastically outperform their draft spot. And I think you nailed it with Beckham. As long as you can handle the downside. I mean, Beckham, we know what could happen, right? So we know that we're getting into a risky territory. But to me, Beckham is in the 5th is a lot like Julio in the 4th, where if we hit, Odell could play like a 2nd-round player. So, the question is, what's the downside? How far from taking Odell in the 5th, how far from his healthy floor are we? Mm-hmm. I don't think we're very far away from his healthy floor. So
you know,
I'm
you
very
look
willing
at the
to do it.
structure of your team,
with
you know, if you have guys that kind of are better with efficiency, but that isn't necessarily like a strong correlation year after year, you know, with like AJ Brown, you know, or Metcalf. I think those guys are really efficient with their touches versus like the volume of like, you know, Diggs and Hopkins. Like, I think those are kind of safer guys, but like, so it depends maybe on the structure of your team. Like, do you want that wide receiver 4 that just has certainly flex appeal, maybe a bit of a ceiling, a bit of upside, not as much necessarily as these other guys, but I don't know. It would depend on the structure of your team for something like that, I guess.
Look, there's
With
a lot of
respect
people
to your
who
ranking.
have like given up on Beckham, right? And I understand. I get it. I get why people have done that. And then there's a lot of people who think, well, even if Beckham is good, Cleveland is a running team, so like even if Odell doesn't cap himself, Cleveland will cap him, right? You know, my feeling is that Cleveland is better than they were last year. It wouldn't shock me if Mayfield played even better than he did last year, and it wouldn't shock me if they just scored a lot more points because they're just better. And in that scenario, there shouldn't be a problem for Odell to get what he needs to more than pay off. Like, to me, Beckham probably can't get up into the first round performance level for the reasons we talked about with Cleveland. But why can't he get into the late second, early third? I think he could.
Yeah.
And in that case, we're getting him in the 5th round. I'm on it.
I think I could see his ceiling being a tad bit higher just because we know what he can do off of the efficiency, specifically on slant routes. So if they can really.
So you think he can get up into the Justin Jefferson? I don't know. I don't think he can get that.
I'm sorry. No. My apologies.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's just volume. I don't think he can get that many targets.
Okay, we're on the same page then. I didn't understand correctly there. No, I'm with you, man. We've made it through the top 24, and I think that the names kind of get weird from here. What are there players, or is there anyone? I have one person specifically that I want to talk about because I want to get your all's thoughts, but I don't have a ton more that I feel like I have to rank or get through, at least get off my chest. But I've got one I want to talk about.
Let's do it.
All right. And this we're going to go down just a little bit of ways here. Robbie Anderson, wide receiver 31 in ADP. Actually, I've got 2, and I've got one that I think is going to mess with you all a lot.
Well, let's do Robbie first.
But Robbie Anderson, let's talk Robbie Anderson, wide receiver 31 on
I have him at 26.
Last season, he sat on 136 targets, 95 catches for where did it go? Oh, crap. Robbie Anderson. I'm sorry. 95 catches for almost 1,100 yards. He now reunites with Sam Darnold, who they made wonderful, beautiful magic in New York for the Jets. And I know, shout out to Dynasty Outhouse, Russ. He's super excited about the reunion between Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold. And last season, Robbie Anderson, with his 136 targets, was wide receiver 19 on the year. Why no love for Robbie Anderson amongst the drafters and perhaps amongst us as well?
I've got Robbie 5 ahead of ADP. I got him at 26. Okay. So I agree. To me, Darnold is going to open up throws that Teddy couldn't have. So you're going to get what we had last year plus downfield. It's going to be Robbie plus the old dangerous Robbie that we saw. I mean, remember when Robbie Anderson was with the Jets, when he was with Darnold, he feasted downfield outside the numbers. Last year, he was in breaking routes, intermediate range, low. That's what Teddy throws, and he ran those routes. Now he can do that stuff plus the other stuff he did with the Jets. Carolina's in a position to do pretty much anything they want with Robbie Anderson, and I see points, lots of points.
Any strong feelings for Robbie there, Gabe?
Not necessarily strong, but I just don't mind where he's being taken. I understand the upside, but the target share that you're referencing is just not doable because Christian McCaffrey just wasn't there.
Yep.
But here's the thing: Mike Anderson got a shitload of targets.
He didn't get top 10 overall targets, though.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I mean, it's not like I know what you're saying, but I don't think it's a massive paradigm shift.
I think it's big, though. And
the other thing is McCaffrey's going to extend drives. Like McCaffrey's going to make them better, right?
Yeah. And especially with your DJ Moore ranking, him being near a wide receiver 1, just that target share alone, and I know that Terrace Marshall is scoring, 12 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, and 120 receptions on the year of the 12s.
Marshall's going to be good. He's going to be
DJ Moore. Oh wait, he's not 12 anymore. He's 2. That would have been a perfect dig. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Here's the thing.
That's a lot to go around. If McCaffrey even has 100 targets, that,
he will.
Is a lot.
He'll have more than that.
Yeah,
he'll have more than that.
I mean, nearly 150 2 years ago. I don't think he gets there, but maybe.
But that's
going to kill Anderson. That's going to kill Robbie Anderson.
I don't think it will. I think there's plenty to go around, and I think there's some left over for Marshall. I mean, is this team going to be in games where they're ahead? How many? I don't think so. I think they're going to be in a lot of games where it's just points. That division's got a lot of good offenses. I feel like Carolina is going to be a team that throws a lot just because that's the way their games go. Even if it's not their intent, they're going to end up doing it.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I don't necessarily dislike Robbie Anderson. I'm okay with where he's at, and it's mostly due to the fact that I think DJ Moore has the ability to finally separate and get to that next tier, and also that McCaffrey is coming back and getting twice the targets, not twice necessarily, but at least 40, 50 more targets than what Mike Davis got. And that's big.
Sure. Sorry, I'm looking.
I was going to say, who do you all have now? What are some of the names that you all have? The last
I'm
one
just
I'm
going
going to
through
say
the guys who've been cut since we started recording. Sorry. Seeing if there's anything we need to talk about. Now we're good. Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
No, I want to hear your all's thoughts now, because I mean, in terms of your all's names at this point, I've only got one left, and I'm gonna save it for when we're getting ready to be done. So
okay, wow. I mean, your name is worth the closing bell, huh?
No, it's just one of those who's your hot
I mean, I think before we leave, we should talk about Devontae Smith. There's one. Okay. I've got him at 32. I think he's definitely a starting guy. I'm willing to take him pretty high. Probably start targeting him late 6th, 7th round, something like that. We mentioned LaVisca earlier. I'm really high on LaVisca. He's my 35. I'm really high on Waddle. I'm right there with him. And another guy who I really love is Pittman. I'm really high on Michael Pittman. So there's a couple names. How about you guys? Did I steal your guy, JMic?
I agree with all of those names.
There we go.
And
I stole your thunder, didn't I? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, okay.
You just added to the storm, baby.
Okay.
He's going deeper.
Waddle
no. Waddle's the guy.
I figured it was Waddle.
I've told Gabe about this many times offline.
Waddle is finally starting to he's finally starting to heat up, and people are starting to talk about him. But I felt like people were too low on him for a while. I don't know why people don't get more excited about him. I don't really get it. I mean, I understand the injury thing, but apart from that, I mean, he's just straight good.
Yep.
And he's
not a gadget player. This idea that Jalen Waddle is a gadget guy, no, not a gadget player.
Thank you.
The routes are absurdly good.
I think he's I think he's labeled as a Ruggs, and he just
right. And I love Ruggs too, but he's better than Ruggs. Just because
he just runs routes.
Right. He's already there. He's already there. We want Ruggs to get where he is.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's already there. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Miami is bothersome because Will Fuller is freaking good, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was top 10 in targets last year, I think. And that's going to be tough basically for Waddle to get up there, but not that it even matters because he's wide receiver, 45? Yeah. 45. Will Fuller's 40, Waddle 45. And there's the only receiver that's still there who actually had a wide receiver 2 season ish. Was it close ish? I don't think he got there quite, but Devontae Parker, wide receiver 57. So I think all 3 of those wide receivers outperformed their ADP. I don't know by how much, but I think there's just like so much disrespect being thrown at the Dolphins right now, all around.
Yeah.
Like even a little bit. I'm not really taking like Gaskin in drafts that much, but I think he's had a bit of disrespect. He's nearing that like RB dead zone that I don't like, but this is not a running back show, wide receiver show. So I'm JMic. I'm with and Pete. I'm with you with Waddle. I've been trying to get Waddle as well, but I don't mind getting Fuller.
Yeah,
I don't mind getting Fuller either.
I have Waddle ahead of Fuller.
I do too,
personally.
I do too.
And you know, I love the fact that he already has a relationship with the quarterback, and the team leaned in so heavy to acquire his services. I mean, I think sometimes when a team says something, you have to listen to them, and when a team takes a guy that high, to me, they're saying this guy's not just a punt returner. He's not just a gadget guy. He's the straw that stirs the offense.
Did you hear that, Gabe? Did you hear that?
Do we have a pre-existing debate going that I don't know about?
No, it's not about a debate. It's just what you just said is what I've used to explain what Waddle's going to be for that offense in terms of like he can, like we talked about. Keep using this solar system analogy. I don't even know why. Like I'm not in love
Planet
with
draft.
Shout out to Spaceman. I don't, no disrespect. I don't mean.
At least we know you're not a flat earther, JMic.
Yeah, there you go. I just really think Jalen Waddle, and that's kind of my hot take right now is Waddle. I've got Waddle at 25. Like I think that it gets like how you feel about Jamar Chase. It is how I feel about what Waddle can be for that offense. Now, there's a lot of questions around that, and I don't know that I expect him to get there out the gate. But I think that he provides so much at all levels, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Part of my rank, I'll be just totally honest. Part of my Waddle ranking is I don't want to rank him too high and have people reaching for him higher than they need to. Like my ranking is relative to where you need to go to get him a little bit, and I probably could move Chase down a little bit. Like my projection for Waddle versus Chase is closer than the ranking would indicate, if that makes any sense. But did we hit your guy, or do you have another guy?
No, that was it.
It was Waddle.
That was it. So did Gabe have a guy he wanted to hit too?
Yeah, sure. I'll get to that guy in just a moment. But let me these gosh darn 3 wide receiver sets, man. They bother me so much this year because like
now I'm trying to figure out where is he going.
Well, like the ADP just never matches up with like anything. Like Joe Burrow at QB 13, yet all of his wide receivers are beyond wide receiver 24 or whatever. You know, Ben Roethlisberger QB 19, all of his wide receivers are pretty much the same, approximately. Maybe even a little better actually than Burrow's as far as like an average. And then Tua, 2 spots behind Ben Roethlisberger, yet those receivers are far down. It's like, and I know I would say that Gesicki like is definitely like the best tight end of those 3 teams. So he certainly has a larger target share than either of those. So, but is that worth like that much of a downgrade on Tua? Like, how is he QB 21? Just seems so easy to put him at QB 15 and let it ride.
Now I have to go see where I have him.
It just seems insane.
I have Tua at QB 17.
All right.
And Burrow at 15.
Yeah.
I think
look,
they are
15 and
similar,
17. Right. I think that they should be closer. Closer.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I have Burrow a little higher is because I think once Burrow is healthy, he runs a little bit. You know, that's sort of the thing. If Tua runs more than last year, then he can close. Tua can run. But
that's what they're starting to talk about, that he's getting more out of the pocket and
well, that's the question.
Like, those runs.
He had that hip thing, which was major, and some people thought it could be career ending. Are they going to let him run around, and are they going to call stuff for him? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's My quarterback rankings look weird. I mean, I have a lot of guys who people think are sacred cows pretty low. I mean, like Ryan, Cousins, Fitzpatrick, Roethlisberger. I'm not on any of those guys. I want the guys who run.
I do too, and I don't mind getting like Fields and Lance late because.
And we were talking about somebody, Gabe, was it Kluge, who was like, "Why is Roethlisberger so low?" It's because he's not going to run. I mean, that's the answer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and we talked. I've talked about that on another pod of like, I think it was the Jaguars pod with Cal when he was doing his 32 on teams. Calvin and Hobby, shout out the Vipers. I think that was a snake, but it didn't really sound like it. Was talking about Trevor Lawrence, and if he can be a top 5 quarterback, and like I don't even know if he can because he just might not run enough. But is he like a QB1 forever? Probably. Like
I love Lawrence this year. Safe. I think he is going to run. I think he's going to run a lot.
I think he runs enough, but I don't think he runs to what all these other quarterbacks are running.
No, he's not going to be one of the.
He's not
runners.
Kyler. He's not obviously.
But I think he's going to be.
He's not.
That
Russell
offense
even.
wants the quarterback.
I don't even know if he's Russell.
I think he is. I think he'll
as far as rushing.
I think he'll out foot point Russell Wilson.
Okay. I might need to actually. I better look at Russell. I was going to say let's bet.
And look,
if we put, I don't know where Russell's at on rushing.
If we took Russ and had him playing for Urban Meyer, we'd flip that.
Yeah,
like Urban Meyer will run his quarterback. So unless Urban Meyer changes, I like Lawrence's foot point potential.
I gotta look at the rushing now. Where should Russ run?
All right, Pete. I think it's on you.
So if we want to talk about more receivers, here's a guy that everybody.
I never even said one, but yeah, go ahead.
I
just started talking about quarterbacks.
Well, if you're going to veer off topic, we're going to skip you. That's the way
I know. I understand.
No.
Go ahead. I'm looking up Russell Wilson rushing numbers. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about probably the guy you wanted to talk about anyway, because like everybody likes to talk about Laviska, right? I mean,
I do.
Like even if you're not drafting him, we like to talk about him. And he's fun. Laviska's fun. He does a little bit of everything, and he's like a big dude. Did you see the run he had last week? they just like screened him the ball, and he like ran 5 guys over and goes in the end zone. And then somebody said people are going to get too excited about this. I'm like, yeah, they are. That was exciting. Give him a break. I mean, like the guy just did exactly what we want to see him do. Of course, we're going to get excited. And I think the way Lawrence was throwing the ball with confidence last week, that pumps me up for Laviska's value.
I think
I'm pretty high on him. Where do you guys have him? I got him at 35.
Again, obviously I feel like my rankings are bad because of my Pittsburgh.
Feel free to guesstimate where he
Cincinnati
should be in your
tier, but to be fair, right after the Pittsburgh Cincinnati tier is Viska. So I would put him probably around the 25 to 30 range. I think 40 or where is he at? I got to look at our ADP.
You have him ahead of Sutton.
Drunk guy just slammed his knee under the table.
I'd put him in the same. I'd put him in the same tier, but I'd have him ahead of Sutton. Just based on
podcast injury.
Yeah, sorry. I know. This is why you join us live Tuesday.
I'm back.
9:30 Eastern ish, and see Pete just tear his meniscus while podcasting. Yeah, he's gonna sue the open bar now. Great. I
am in the protocol for the rest of the show.
Yep. Trying to look up Trevor Lawrence rushing yards prop bet.
Trevor Lawrence prop bet. Hey, you know what? I'm down with that. Find that. And hey, we got to get rid of my logo. We need to put the open bar logo back up there, man. We haven't switched yet.
All right.
Because last year we were switching a lot, remember?
Did we switch it?
Yeah, because this is a cross-promotion show. We got it.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Or we can do this one too, or the clock.
Ooh, I feel like I'm at a bar when you guys put the logo up.
I like the clock, honestly, JMic.
The clock is.
I like our logo, but I like.
They're both clean. They're both clean, bro.
I like the clock.
Either way, they're all good.
We should have this as our Avi at least.
Let's talk about some guys that
because it's a circle.
Is there anybody? Well, there's definitely at least 5 more guys I want to hit.
All right, let's get it.
Who?
All right, wait, hold on. Let me talk about guys.
Right, because Gabe. Well, if you'd stop searching props, we'd let you
I'm trying.
talk.
I want to know. I'm curious, but I am curious now because, like, if those are closer to Russell Wilson numbers, then maybe we should put some respect on his name.
I'm down with that. Find that. But also say something about a receiver.
All right. Well, I think Gallup should be higher than where he is. And I've already said that.
Where do you guys have him? Let's talk.
Well, again, I have Pittsburgh and Cincinnati tier, which doesn't really count.
Yo, that's
so
wild. You so wild.
Be that as it may, there's got to be a number next to his name, right?
Okay.
All right, wait a minute. JMic, where do you have him?
I've got him at 38.
Okay, you got him higher than me, but I like him. I'm at 40.
Funny. I have my Pittsburgh Cincinnati tier starts right after my wide receiver twos. So they're like all just wide receiver threes.
We need to get you to break up the Steelers and something needs to be done.
I know. I was just like, yeah, they're too hard to separate. Anyway, Gallup would be right there with Visca Sutton, basically that kind of tier. So I guess.
Wow. So that's
30,
so I have Gallup pulled back with you guys, and I love him. So don't get me wrong.
The disrespect, man.
I'm sorry.
Gallup or
Hey,
Debo?
last year you guys thought I was disrespecting Amari. This year you think I'm disrespecting Gallup. It's okay.
Gallup or Debo, JMic?
Gallup or Debo, yeah.
I'm on Debo.
I would take Gallup. Because I think Debo is the third option, much like Gallup, but I think that Gallup has
We're
more
including
volume.
tight ends now.
I mean, Kittle is that is the probably the wide receiver one, if not the 1A, 1B with apparently with my ranking of Ayuk. But
right. I just feel like I don't think any of the San Francisco big three are going to get lost in the shuffle on a given week. I think they're going to get theirs on some level. I feel like Gallup can have weeks where he just doesn't really get involved. I could be wrong on that. We'll see.
It's probably, he's probably better. Like I've attempted to do a bunch of Dak, Gallup, and either Cooper, Lamb, Stack, and Best Ball. And I think that's like,
I love getting Gallup. I just want to when Michael Gallup falls to me, it's great because now I'm in a position where Lamb or Cooper gets hurt, and all of a sudden my wide receiver 5 or 4 just jumps right up into a wide receiver 2 and game on.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, I'm with you. I think the way to win the Dallas receivers is to let Gallup fall to you.
I mean, looks over in overall points, Gallup was wide receiver 38 last year. And that was with 3/4 of the season Dakless.
Yep.
I mean,
and it's weird. He actually formed a decent relationship with Dalton,
right,
which I didn't anticipate. I called it the other way and totally went the way I thought it would not go. But oddly enough, he and Dalton hooked up pretty well.
But wide receiver 43 is weird if you're getting Dak back. Like
I have at 44. I have Shark at 43.
I think he should be in the 30s easily as far as ADP, and I think that he could outperform that still.
My problem is I don't know who to pull back. I like Gallup. I hear what you're saying, but
it's like logically, it sounds like so stupid to even draft a third wide receiver. But then again, we're drafting. We just talked about all these other stupid wide receivers that are like Juju and Boyd, and they're going ahead of Gallup, yet Gallup is on the offense that passes far more and far more efficiently. And I will say that, Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are far better options than any of those 3 receivers on any of those Ohio, Pennsylvania teams. But
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's weird,
that's
man.
tough. No, you're making an interesting point, actually, I think. I'm not sure if I can. I don't know if you're going to actually move my number, but it's an interesting point. My ears are open.
Do it, David. If you do it, I'll do it. I got Weller 12 downstairs.
There you go.
So yeah, that's the problem with receivers this year. Like I say, I want to move a lot of guys up. The problem is who am I moving down? So Do I? I've got I've got
Debo.
Brandon Cooks. I got Brandon. Well, okay. Debo. I mean, I can understand the Debo one, so I can move him up one spot that way. But like, do I like him more than Corey Davis? I don't know. Davis feels like Davis is locked into a 1-2 role. So
Elijah Moore,
right? He would be the 2 or the 1. I don't know. These other guys have more. Like Pittman has potential wide receiver 1 ceiling. Waddle could take the lead role for his team. So that's why these guys are a little higher, just because I feel like they've got more high-end range of outcomes without needing an injury to get there.
Yeah.
But this is compelling. I mean, I don't think you guys are wrong. I just have a different rationale.
No, I agree. I agree with different rationale.
Yeah.
Ironically. Yeah.
And by the way, Elijah Moore is right after Gallup on my board. He's 45. I love him. Love Elijah Moore.
Who else do you have on your list?
Well, like guys who I really like looking for like upside guys when I get into that point where I'm, just looking where I'm looking to avoid the roster cloggers and I'm trying to lean in for the upside. Elijah Moore would be one. Darnell Mooney is another. Marquez Callaway, Rondale Moore, Jacoby Myers, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Rieger. Every name is going lower down my list for what it's worth. Brian Edwards for the Raiders. Terrace Marshall for the people in the chat. I love Terrace Marshall as an upside play. Paris Campbell, if he stays healthy, love him as an upside play. That's a pretty. And if we're going deep sleeper, like go all the way down to 66, I like Nico Collins a lot as a sleeper. That's a lot of guys. Did I miss anyone?
Callaway's. Callaway.
I have Callaway as my wide receiver. I have him as wide receiver 48, 107 overall.
And I don't even know. I don't know if Michael Thomas is playing for the Saints this year. I don't think he's playing through the first 6 weeks. And so
that's
I think you have
true.
Yeah, I think you and their bye is week 6. Right. So, conveniently
here's the thing though. That means if he comes back, I get the last 12 games. Like that's still pretty good. It's
great, but at the same time, I just think that with Callaway going in your 12th, 13th round, I think you're getting a wide receiver 2 for 6 weeks in the 12th or 13th round.
Maybe. I don't know if he's that high. I definitely feel like he's a third receiver. Like he's a weekly starter one way or the other.
Who is there?
Marquez Callaway.
No. Who would not who would out
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about on the Saints?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think he's the number 1 targeted player on the Saints until Thomas returns.
For sure.
I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying is that you're getting him in the 12th, 13th round of these redraft leagues.
Kamara could maybe out target him. Maybe.
Well, yeah.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Some weeks.
Okay. Well, Robbie Anderson is not going to out target McCaffrey.
Right.
So,
right.
And he's your wide receiver, whatever. So,
I'm just calling myself.
But no, and it might just be a rental, but it could be longer. I don't see why you would not draft Callaway in the 12th round. Even the 11th round. I think you're giving a locked in flex wide receiver 2.
Yeah. I have him ranked 9th, 10th round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the first 6 weeks, lock right there. So I've moved him way up. If you told me that the role that you have him in for 6 weeks is going to be a 17-week role, I would move him probably up with LaVisca and Antonio Brown. Yeah, potentially even higher. I mean,
maybe.
James Robinson, Gus Edwards effect of sorts. I think that's not necessarily the case with wide receiver, but the volume.
I was moving him up. I'm moving him up 35 spots on my overall board, which is quite a bit.
Yeah. But dude's clearly got paws. I mean, that one-handed catch.
And look, we saw him last year.
I'm so excited for Jameis Winston.
I mean, Breeze had a lot of trust in Callaway last year when they were both healthy at the same time. It didn't come out of nowhere.
I think Jameis Winston could be our new Ryan Fitzpatrick.
They are cut from the same cloth, man. There's no doubt. I like to put Darnold in that category too, where he just keeps throwing the ball. He doesn't have a conscience.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. To me, that's the people are worried about Darnold hurting the receivers. He's not going to hurt the receivers. He may hurt the Panthers, but he's not going to hurt the receivers. He can feed receivers.
Let's see. Who else is a guy I've got kind of up? I know you basically just say all the guys that I say. I know you said
no, but
I know you said Mooney. I like him too.
Right. So yeah, but we can talk about him though. I mean, if you have something you want to say, I mean, Mooney is their lack of a slot receiver to me just pushes Mooney up. You know, he's going to get his shots. I mean, they're going to take shots at A-Rob. We know that, but they need to take more shots, and it's going to be Mooney. They don't really have anybody else. So, their slots are going to be the tight ends, it looks like.
Now that Cam was somehow released from the Patriots, that one kind of blew my mind. I don't
really?
get it.
Well, Cam played well. He didn't deserve to get cut. It seemed to me like it was sort of a respect cut.
You're
not going to be the starter. We're going to give you a shot to go find a gig.
Exactly. They're easily half of the teams in the league that could start Cam Newton over there.
It's the old thing. Do they want to go
go get Cam Newton?
But you're asking the Giants to change their paradigm. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If you bring in Cam, that means you're a running quarterback team.
I mean, Daniel
some
Jones
teams just don't.
Already
some
that
teams
kind
just
of,
don't want to
yeah.
do it. But the Giants have leaned in on him. They have to stick. They're pot committed.
So, but anyway, my question is, regardless of of Cam, is Mac going to unleash? Nostalgia. We got you. Is he going to unleash Jacoby? Is there a wide? Basically, my question is there a wide receiver that can be usable? Your flex, your top 35 type of wide receiver.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I wrote about Jacoby in my update today, because I think Mac is really just a positive for every single one of their receivers
and their running backs, for what it's worth.
Yeah, he is, because now you don't.
JMic, we're finally here. Damian, I've been drafting him so much. JMic.
Yeah, I
so ready.
To me, Jacoby Meyer's value goes up. Nelson Aguilar's value goes up considerably because now he's got an accurate midfield and downfield thrower. The tight end's value goes up, and I think you're dead on with the running backs. They don't have a vulture QB now, so Damian Harris can score 10 touchdowns now.
So
it's possible. Yeah, and Ramondre, he could do some things too. I mean, Ramondre's a preseason hero. I mean, I think probably people are a little bit overboard on him right now, but he is
70-yard run was stupid, but
but he is good. He's got, for a big back, he's got really good feet, and that's something the Patriots clearly look for, because that's a thing with all of their running backs. They have good feet. They look for that. Same thing with Harris. He's got really good feet.
All right.
Sorry, I know we're not supposed to talk about running backs.
No, you're good.
Hey, how about, you know what? The Raiders cut John Brown today. Smokey got cut. So, hey.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see that one.
A little Talisker, a little smoked whiskey for Smokey Brown.
Wow.
Going out, Smokey.
I don't know if that's shade or respect.
Respect. I love Smokey Brown.
I do
but there's something real there, right? So that, to me, that reinforces the upside potential of Ruggs and Bryan Edwards.
Yeah.
It makes them even better.
Very excited for Bryan Edwards. I don't care about Ruggs, but
I like Ruggs.
As a person, I hope he succeeds. But I just like Bryan Edwards.
I like both
as a wide receiver.
Let me ask you this: does everybody know that Henry Ruggs has 10-inch hands?
10-inch
mitts.
Mitts. But you don't see guys who are 190 who run 4.2 who have 10-inch hands. That's an odd combination. So he,
Look up John Ross's hands, JMic.
John Ross has got little baby hands. He's got 8.8s, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably 8.8. He got the decimal. Come on, chill.
No, I just threw that out there.
He got the 8.8s.
You know who's got big ass hands is freaking Logan Thomas, 11.
Excited for him.
He's got serving trays for hands.
I think the Patriots are a team without a top 24 wide receiver this year. I think that Jacoby or Aguilar
that's
are
probably
usable, but I just don't think that they're going to have a top 24 this year. And that's not
I'm
even
with
like
you.
a hot take because
Well, no, I
these
think
wide
that-
receivers are like way
I think
down, like wide
if-
receiver 60 or something. But
if Jacoby Myers ended up being like wide receiver 22, 21 in full PPR, it wouldn't blow my mind, but
Yeah.
I would predict it.
I think he could get to like 40, 30, like, and have some usable weeks.
Oh, and you know what? Jacoby Myers, always
Uh-oh.
open.
True.
Got to give him a little bit.
We still have Jacoby on our Vamp League, JMic. I haven't looked at our roster in decades, but I hope we
feel
do.
like we should. I just want to throw out an honorable mention real quick. Wide receiver 34 on the season last year, Nelson Aguilar. Now in New England. It's just one of those later round players, and I feel like he is often overlooked.
I was begging people all of last year, like, pick this guy up and play him off of waivers. He was still there, like week 15, still there, 40% owned.
It took him a while, but he's finally figured it out.
Not supposed to say that word anymore.
Yeah, he's finally figured it out to some degree, which was nice. And now that he's in New England, I like what he can be with Mag. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Jacoby and Aguilar were easy targets for best ball for me all offseason. Just
me too. Very much so.
I got one actually. I don't think the name has been mentioned. I believe. And shout out to my first name. Full name.
The unvaccinated one.
Is he? I thought it was just.
Gabriel.
Oh man.
Cole and Gabriel both unvaccinated.
Nah, shoot. Never mind. Anyway, no, Gabriel Davis.
You're on that one thing.
I'm all right with that because if I hype up Allen, if I hype up Diggs, I feel that there's going to be one to emerge, potentially even two to emerge as kind of that top 30, top 40 range, and Gabe Davis is wide receiver 71.
I'll be right back.
That's insane.
Keep talking.
That's insane to me. So I don't know. I've been getting him in a lot of drafts easily. Just like round 13, 14 ish, JMic, in redraft. So best ball as well. Too easy.
I'm just really curious of what is the realistic ceiling of Gabe Davis? Because I think that some people nice. Because I still think that
we're going dark mode now. We're in late night mode. We're 11:10. So we're in dark side of the moon. Dark mode. We're good.
I don't even know what I was about to say. No, you're good.
I screwed your momentum up. It's my fault.
No, I just think that it's really interesting. I think people were going to ask certain questions in Buffalo if Diggs can continue to get the volume that he gets, if Emmanuel Sanders isn't dust yet, if Cole Beasley continues to be the quote unquote slot machine light version.
Yeah.
Then where is where does Gabe Davis get in, where he fits in, and can you trust it consistently, or are you just waiting for him to possibly show an opportunity in the event of an injury?
It's the right question. It's the right question, because they have 4 legit guys. They got Manny too, right? Manny
Correct.
Sanders. So
yes.
I think
I think like I don't want to like compare them as they like are the same thing, but it's sort of reminiscent of it right now between Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers. A bit of that, like, just pure arm strength, the ability to throw outside of the pocket, the ability to escape and run if need be. And like Rodgers he's had 3 top 24 wide receivers. He's had certainly 2 before, and last year it's Adams. So it's just like, if Allen were to, I'm not even saying that this is like what Allen's, career path is, but is there a chance for him to have 2, top 24, or is it just going to be that Adams type of build where you've got Diggs up top and then just
I was just about to say was just
other
about to say
pieces that
that's-
kind of help, with the
I think it's that.
MVS type, the Lazard type,
For what it's worth,
Amari
MVS
Rogers,
is a
whatever.
sleeper.
So.
And the fact that everybody's going to disagree. No, but I think MVS is a legit sleeper right now.
Yeah.
He's having a really good camp. Everybody's giving up on him. They haven't done anything to replace his role in the offense. So in really deep leagues, I think he could be an interesting guy. In best ball, I think he's a really good 19th, 20 round pick.
Special delivery. Special delivery. David, I don't know if you're still kicking it with us. You were here 5 minutes ago, it looks like, but I'm here for you. I'm ready to pull up.
Yeah, I think it's dark mode now, and I'm getting into the Talisker.
I feel like there's I think we could milk the end of the wide receivers for a long time. But you guys have jobs and shit in the morning. We gotta wrap this up at some point. If you let me go, we're going till midnight. So no, just the last name that I'm going to throw out. And I keep thinking about the Hamilton. I got one musical, more too. I got one more. The Hamilton musical, One Last Time. I feel like there's just a slew of people that we could just start singing that song about. Just one last time. What are we gonna get? I live in New York, and I still haven't gone to see Hamilton. It's so brutal. It's so expensive. Man. It's so expensive. I bet that is the case. Shout out to Disney Plus, not a sponsor, obviously, of the Fantasy Highland or the Open Bar Podcast. That's the only reason I've seen it. Disney Plus. Exactly.
Why not, JMic? Why not?
I don't know. Maybe I need you to get us hooked up with some of those big wigs over there.
Last time I checked, it was $1,300. Sheesh. That's wild. I mean, I want to go, but damn.
You were just talking about Aaron Rodgers, and you were just
talking
about MVS.
Pro or go. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, for real. But we didn't mention that he got his boo thing back. Aaron Rodgers got his boo thing back. Randall Cobb, one last time. So I don't know if that's going to be one, but I think he's one that's interesting. Paris Campbell with the Indianapolis Colts. People putting their hope in there. Then you keep going because I'm excited about. No. I'll hit him in a bit. You keep going. No, I'm just excited about Paris this season. Me too. I feel like a lot of folks have gotten their hopes up. So he missed the rookie season. We got excited last year, and his foot was tweaked, and we saw flashes in camp. And again, this season we see that he's healthy. And last year he hit the PCL in that first game. Just wild stuff. And so now we see him healthy. We see T.Y. likely taking a step back in this offense. I know a lot of people are super excited about T.Y. is dinged. Yeah. And Paris Campbell all of a sudden is sitting there with air and opportunity as the deep threat on this team, as well as the one that they can get it to in short spaces to really do work. So Paris Campbell, super, super inexpensive in your drafts. He's going to be someone that's available there for you late. And well worth the dart throw. And I'm likely taking him a little bit earlier than where his ADP currently has him, which is again incredibly late. He's currently going as all the way down here at wide receiver 74.
I'm wearing that shirt right now.
That's free money.
Yeah, but those are the last ones I wanted to make sure I got off my chest.
They printed it across your gut, huh?
Yeah.
So, dude, Paris. I mean, look. The thing about Paris Campbell is you have to take him late enough where the injury isn't going to kill you, right? So just take as long as you're taking Paris Campbell at a point in your draft where you can go to the waiver wire and replace him. I just love taking him. I do, because everything you just said, I agree with. First of all, the Hilton thing gives him potential volume. This is a guy who is lightning fast, plus size. I saw him catch that ball from Brissett and take it down the sideline a couple weeks ago. He did not look like a guy coming off an injury at all. He looked good. So to me, and I posted on Twitter the other day. I threw out a tweet. All it said is Paris Campbell's healthy. That's all it said. And it got 26 likes. And that was the point, which is saying Paris Campbell is healthy on August 30th. Is news. That's news. That's actionable information. The fact that he has made it through August and isn't dinged is a big deal for him. Doesn't mean he's going to make it to week 8. Doesn't mean he's going to make it to week 4, but it means he's a guy you should be taking late in your drafts because he's got big ceiling. Big ceiling.
And I am officially tapped out on names. So it's on y'all if y'all have any left.
I'm just excited for Rondale Moore. And
yeah, me too.
Let's go.
Me too. Yeah, we mentioned Rondale though. We mentioned him.
I know. We kind of I know we mentioned him at like the beginning of the pod as a Glendale Moore, but I don't know if we mentioned him as the late round stab.
How about if we drilled? Sorry. Let's drill down on him a little bit. Let's drill down on him. So what's his ADP right now? Rondale's
looks like 67, but it's also kind of like all over the place. Like
right, I was gonna say like I'm not waiting that long. There's no way I'm waiting.
Yeah,
that long.
I mean, best ball underdog is 106. So you can't 10, 11 or 9.
I've got him at 50 over 109, and I'll probably jump a little bit if he's still on the board. Like I'm willing to go a little bit earlier.
And these sites have him at like anywhere from 199 to 130. So I mean, he's probably more of like I think I took him recently actually. I can check real quick in a like kind of standard typical league of start 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and I took him in the 12th round. So
the thing about Moore is that teams
I went more back to back.
You did. Who was
Elijah
the other
Rondale.
Oh, nice. The thing about Moore is that like what can teams even do, right? You've got a mobile quarterback and you've got an alpha receiver. So it's not like teams are going to lean on Moore. They should be able to get him the ball. They shouldn't have to work that hard to do it. There's a lot of places where Moore would have gone where I wouldn't have been that excited about him. This offense, I'm excited. I'm on it. I want him.
And I think it's okay to take these stabs at rookie wide receivers this late.
Absolutely, because we're taking him as like our wide receiver 5.
Yeah. I think Moore is my 6th, and I took Gabe Davis as my 7th wide receiver. But
where do you guys have Moore in terms of like he's my wide receiver 50? Right behind Fuller and Callaway.
I think that's fine. I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not even going to like start to rank like that deep.
No, that's fine.
It's probably going to stop. It's probably going to stop near 50 for me.
So he's in that area.
Yeah, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, I just took him round 12, and that ADP of the wide receiver 50 is like 117. So,
and that's the area, man. That's the area where you want to start teeing off on these Rondale Moore, Jacoby, Ruggs.
Yep.
Whichever ones you like, you want to start collecting them in that area.
I agree.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In that area, you want to bang out 2 or 3 of those guys if you can.
Oh, finally. JMic, you can finally ask my question. I'm just kidding, bro.
Yes,
I'll
Pete,
hit him
we are
up.
still here.
Or I'll just peruse in his data.
Pete didn't think we were going to make it to 11.
Shit.
Do we want to put a stop time? We're going to go to 11:30?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yep. That's the clock.
That look on JMic's face says, I'm glad Pete didn't say midnight.
Oh, no, I can hold out. 9 more minutes.
See, my thing is, I know my wife went to bed an hour ago because she has to get up at 5. So for me at this point, I could stay up till 1.
And
I'm drinking, buddy. I'm the guy your wife does not want you hanging out with tonight.
Yeah. I'm starting to get the heavy eye, so
that's the man in the mirror for me, Pete.
And
it's okay. It's all good. Hey, man, us empty nesters, we're trouble. We are walking trouble.
Yeah.
Who else I got? Or was there anybody else that was?
Did either one of you guys make it to that expo?
I did.
Yes.
It was a great time.
Was it amazing? I wish I could have gone. I mean, I didn't have a prayer in the world. It sounded like it was a really good time.
Yep. I think it's really going to start to be a thing.
Next year, we should do this show from the expo.
Aha.
That'd be fun.
I feel like people need to
camera.
Not too many people pod from the expo, but it would be cool that more live pods happen at the expo versus like and
a live draft.
I enjoyed the panels. Don't get me wrong, but that should be a podcast. not just a panel. That should be in a studio.
There were so many people.
Built
That was
correctly. And shout out to Bob Lung, Bobby,
Yeah.
Mr. Lung. He's got big things, man. He's yeah.
Pete Howard.
I'm gonna hold a concert there, you know, in the plaza, you know. Just
lip syncing or actual singing?
No. What you think? I got 50 intros in this game. All right, just give me an hour slot. I'll just rap all the intros.
Hey, it works for me. I need a new intro to my podcast. I need to come up with some coin and get your services.
I need to give you a better intro than what I gave you like 3 years ago or something. That shit is trash.
No, that wasn't me. That was somebody else.
Mm.
You did, by the way, totally. You smoked me in front of my kid, though, and you gave me the wrong. You gave me the wrong usage for bussing. I broke it out in front of my daughter. She's like, "Dad, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, Gabe did me dirty. God damn it!" It's like that scene from Big Fat Greek Wedding.
What did I do? I don't even remember. Was it a tweet?
You intentionally gave me the wrong usage for the word bussin'.
Did I really?
Yeah. And you were really good about it too. You were like, "Yeah, Pete, it means like, you know, like you're really working at it."
Wait, hold on. Where was this? Was this a tweet?
It was like in DM.
On a pod?
No, it was like DMs like a year ago. You just did
Direct
me dirty.
To you? To only you. I was like talking to you. And I was like, "Hey, Pete, this is what." No way.
You set me up, man.
Oh my god.
And I mean, I bit hard. I went down for the count. TKO.
I'm so sorry, dude.
At the dinner
my delivery. Too. Oh no, Pete.
My daughter was like, "Dad, yo, boomer."
Yeah. Pete, you can't bust it at the dinner table.
I know that now. Okay. It was funny though. It was funny.
All right.
Because normally I sneak in and use their words and I get away with it. And she's like, "Yo, no."
Yeah. My students get mad when I use the words. Well, they don't get mad, but they just like, "Damn it." I can see it on their face. Like, he used it correctly though. How did he do that? I thought that was our thing. I thought that was only for ages. You thought, yeah.
Somebody just asked how many bottles we would need at the live expo show.
Oh,
is the expo in the hotel? So I can just take the elevator to my room when this is over?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not going to put a limit on it then.
I'm coming through Kentucky next time, and we're gonna get busy. But
is it in Kentucky next year?
No, I just mean
that would be too good.
Driving from and through and etc. I don't know. What was I gonna say?
Did we miss anybody?
There's so many wide receivers. The last wide receiver on this list is Scotty Miller.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one more guy who's a sleeper who I sort of like is Darius Slayton. I feel like nobody.
I don't mind that either.
And it's got to be a deep league, you know. I mean, he's like my wide receiver 75 right now, but I feel like he's a guy who just like nobody's talking about him. And I mean, Tony is probably out of the mix, and now you got Ingram banged up, and there is a connection between Jones and Slayton. Like Jones has confidence in him, so.
I think the Giants are another team that do not have a top 24 wide receiver, but wide receiver 88 is very low.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. The Giants don't have a top 24. Galladay, a good year for Galladay is sneaking into the 20s.
Galladay. Why did you?
He's not healthy right now. So hey, what did we do here? Did we start at about 9?
Yeah, close to.
Yeah.
All right. So
y'all's time.
We managed to cut the length of the show down by a full half hour. That's pretty good.
Strong.
Wow.
I think last year we were here past 1 a.m., but we started at like 10.
4 hours.
You might be right.
It was really, really long.
I can actually tell you.
I'm pretty sure I abused it too because I didn't have
It was
work
it was
the next
long. It
day,
was way
probably.
long.
So I was like, let's go.
We definitely made some. I think we made better headway this week than this year than we did last year.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Gabe is right.
Yeah.
The official time was
we did 4 hours.
4 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah, our efficiency this year was much improved.
Well, you guys are old now, so we can't do 4 hours anymore.
Think about that. Another hour and a half of.
We were still making sense at the end.
At least one time.
I mean, it wasn't good stuff at the end, but you could say, you could understand what we were saying. That's more than what I just said.
I think at least get a bomb countdown.
Howard's giving a shit now.
Oh, it's loud countdown.
I don't even know how to put a bow on this at this point. My brain is mush.
When you guys sign off, I'm gonna pour one last drink, and I'm gonna go put. Let me see. What am I gonna put on?
Wow.
Pete heads to the back of his.
I think we're gonna go with some Delphonics. We're gonna go with some Delphonics.
All right, check.
So I'm gonna, as soon as you sign off, I'm gonna do one more whiskey and some Delphonics.
All right. We have 1 minute and some seconds here. We're gonna do this. Oh wait, shoot! I have to share.
Is that a Christmas ornament?
Yes.
Interesting.
Do we have any last words of like who you want to share your like thing? You know, your whatever we do. Blah blah blah. Ooh.
Usually, my wife is that person.
Share your thing with that.
Usually.
No, I
don't. That's the time bomb. I see. I should know that. I've been here before.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been here before, Pete. So
who's the best receiver value on the whole board?
On the whole board?
Who's the best value? Against ADP.
Gabe, you're not going to like this, but it may end up being somebody like Cole at wide receiver 52.
Oh,
yeah, that's one that I haven't made an apology for, and it might happen this year.
It might.
I'm going to go with our guy Deontay at wide receiver 22. I think he can beat that by like 6 or 7 spots.
But like that doesn't matter. 6 or 7.
It matters when you're at 22.
Why?
Well, because he's almost a wide receiver one.
Oh, he's almost a wide.
Well, that's hey, if he's wide receiver 2, you're taking him where? 5th round, and you get 3rd round value. That's pretty good.
Also, Jarvis Landry's way down too.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
Landry's interesting, right? He lost a lot of weight, and
he just keeps doing what he does.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about it is they told him to lose weight, which means they're going to have him doing less blocking, which means he could be targeted more. I mean, he's not exciting, but like the possibility of Landry being better than last year, I think, is definitely there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be one of those stupid 3 wide receivers from one of those 3 stupid teams. And I don't know which one it is, but
you love the 3 amigo receivers. You love those guys.
It's insane. I've never seen so much talent so like disrespected simultaneously.
You know who's an interesting player who's sort of floating is Jamison Crowder on the Jets, because the Jets don't have a place to put him, and there are a couple teams out there who could really use a slot. Like, imagine if Crowder went to the Bears. That would mess some shit up.
Yeah.
That would mess Mooney out.
That would bum me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You don't need it. Why'd you put that evil?
Sorry, man. And I have a lot of Mooney dynasty, so I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. Way to end the show on a down note, Pete. Nice.
Yeah. Gee,
thanks a lot.
Pete.
Jeez.
Let's talk about some injury risk, guys. Just kidding.
I think that's my answer. Is like one of those like 3 wide receivers from one of those teams. Like I don't even know who it is, but I just don't even know who it is. It's so hard. That's so hard.
You know who I love if something happens to Landry or Beckham, I love Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I did see him deep down there, DPJ.
Yeah.
Deep PJ.
DPJ.
What do you think, JMic? Should I start the timer?
It's time.
All right.
It's time. Howard's going to give us a hard time, but it's time.
All right. This is the open bar. We're here Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern-ish. We're usually not talking football like this exclusively. Which I mean, we talked about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We talked about other things. So
yeah, we did.
JMic, Pete, love you guys. Can't wait for year 3 and see how wrong we were. I want to see how wrong we were from last year. I don't even know. I don't care.
I watched it.
I care, but like I don't.
We did okay, believe it or not.
All right. This is crazy.
This fuse is crazy.
I know. How loud do you think it's going to be?
I don't know, but I'm nervous. I'm really nervous.
Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
Ha!
I was not ready.
I know.
Oh my God. What is this, the extended remix?
Oh my gosh. I was not ready.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We got him. We got him.
Well, hey, look, we made it to night mode. We did okay.
All right. Yeah, we made it to my night mode. I do like it looks when you hit the lights and you got the black on black. Come on.
I should have gone sooner.
All right. This is the open bar. This is Pete Davidson, Rotobahn.
Yo.
That dude, actually, we're just the open bar. We don't do anything, but he actually puts. Well, JMic kind of does things, but Pete actually puts rankings out and stuff on his website for free. So
it is free.
anything you liked on this show, you can find out there. Rotobahn, the man. That's his handle. So
always fun hanging with you guys. I wish we could do it more often.
I agree. Why can't we just have a wide receiver ranking show every week?
Nobody does that. There's no way anybody does that.
That's why, because no one does it. No, this was fun. Pete, thanks
if you guys start playing DFS, we could get in some real weekly trouble. But you guys got families and kids.
I feel like there could be at least a monthly show of whiskey and wide receivers that develops based on whether it's
I don't know about the wide receiver part, but the monthly whiskey thing definitely could happen.
I mean, yeah, as if it happens monthly, right? All right.
Maybe we just need to do a different list each show. Just whiskey and lists.
Lists keys. All right.
List keys.
That's Highland for you. JMic got down on the Rheingeist. Because he wanted to preserve his 5 bottles of Blanton that he's got in the tuck. I know he does. I know you.
If he's got 5 bottles of Blanton, you got to sell me one, man. Come on.
He does.
Come on.
He showed me the cabinet.
Don't listen again.
If anybody's got a bottle of Blanton, I want it.
I should have bought every single one of them in Wyoming.
It really is true.
There was no limit on it either. They didn't say I could only buy 2 when I came
Stop
back.
Talking.
They had a sign on it that said you could only buy 2 of the special reserve, and I bought 1 of the special reserve. Anyway, the open bar next week probably gonna be lit, loud, and certainly bro-like, because we are those. We are bros. Until next week. And until the next time Pete Davidson pods as a Highland, a fantasy Highland. Everyone breathe. Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 1.